All right, we are live. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Welcome back to the Dominion, or excuse me, the Krieg Dominion. I almost said the Dominion Krieg. That would have sounded really not Englishy. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and the host for tonight's events. This is Second Star, a Traveler 2300 role-playing experience, Season 2, Episode 5, entitled Grendel. With me, of course, are my players who, of course, play their characters. So let's start with a little bit of intros, and then we'll probably just jump right into it. Starting with Charles. Charles, what is new and exciting for you in your neck of the woods? And maybe, yeah, we can leave it with that. Maybe I'll start doing
Okay.
questions of the week here one day.
Is so I
Uh-oh.
wigs.
Hey, Charles, I gotta cut you off right there. Your mic is being a little funky right now.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and take a moment to see what you can do to fix that, and let's go ahead and
Yep.
we'll come back to you. Wiggles, same question, same everything else except the technical difficulties, and that I'm saying that truly as a jest, not as trying. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
So I was doing
all
things,
right, you
and
jerk.
it was.
Wow, before we started tonight, we all had a comment or two
So
about
I
trolly trolls, and here I am being trolled.
And
This is almost funny.
it funny.
Oh. Do I do 0 for 3 and just switch to Thurgor? I hate you guys right now.
Plus, we can see his ping, and it's awesome.
Oh, man. Why not? Thurgor!
All right, I'll be all right.
You sure?
So, yeah, I think so. I always have to give a weather update.
This is your method of trolling.
Right. So summer is over here for sure, 100%. Last week it was in the 50s. This week it's looking like it's going to be in the 40s. And this is where we'll stay probably for quite some time. It'll get a little colder. It'll get in the 30s. Oh, maybe in October. We'll see. But no, everything here is going great. We've got another site visit this Friday for a new doc. Hopefully he's going to sign up.
You guys have been trying to find a new doc for a few weeks or more now.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. So yeah, I've done lots of online interviews. I've culled some other ones right off the bat that didn't need to waste our time on.
Right.
This one here at least sounds good. When I was doing his interviews, his English was such that he was saying things like, well, when I would be up there instead of if I would be up there. So
right.
I think he's kind of pretty much made up his mind, but the site visit, this is a different place to be living. So for sure, 100%. So we always invite everybody once we get to the point where we know they're at least interested, they bring them on the island for a site visit, and they're here for about 48 hours or so. And I show them around and do some other interviewing, and
they get a feel for that. They get a feel for that 24th century seclusion.
Right. But now everything's great here. It's starting to rain. It's getting into the rainy season, so it'll be 40s and raining for 6 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. Ready to go.
All right, let's circle back to Charles and see if he's got his issues resolved. Charles, can we hear you?
So funny enough, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so funny enough, I just got a new headset because the other one is starting to act up. And I was plugged in with that one, but it has a little shorter mic, so it's kind of hanging off the side of my ear versus at my.
Gotcha.
Anywho's, I play Fritz Hellwig, the security officer / spy who wants to pretend he's like the 23rd century James Bond or something like that.
But does not have the logistical support. Not even close.
No, not even close. So what's new in my road? because I am a veteran, I just got myself registered with the PAC Act. If you don't know about it, they just passed a law over the summertime, and you have until basically the end of this month to register. But it's if you get down with something ugly from being overseas in the Afghanistan or Iraq or in the region, it's supposed to help out with additional pays and stuff like that for medical
Is this
treatment.
physical maladies, mental maladies, or is it a combination?
Yes,
I love the answer. That means all of the above.
all of the above. Yes,
That's good.
yes, yep. So yeah, I'm just waiting on the official letters of like when I got to go down to the hospital and go report and go get checked out and
So is
everything.
that for all branches?
All
Sounds like
branches.
it. Yeah.
Yep, it's the VA.
Oh, the
So-
VA.
Yeah,
The PACT Act? All right.
the PACT
no,
Act.
all right, I'm going to have to make sure my significant other is aware of that because,
Yep.
she also has to deal with the VA. Her migraine was really bad today, and she had to cancel her Botox trip, which would help alleviate her migraine because her migraine was too bad. And
Oh
of
my
course,
God.
the next appointment is in November 21st.
Oof. Literally 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, our healthcare system is shoddy, say.
Yep. Anywho's,
Yeah.
that's
Charles, you got
me.
anything else?
Nope. I'm just glad that it is now September and the hot and uncomfortable is going away, and we're gonna get into the rainy and the wet and the cool.
Yeah, I'm actually in that in-between stage myself. Of course, you and I are in the same temperate climate area.
Yep.
Yeah, driving out to my work area this morning, I actually turned the AC off, probably for the first time in, I don't know, since like March, maybe? I really don't know. I couldn't tell you when the last time I legit turned the AC off and turned it to something other than the AC. It's been quite a while. And that includes, of course, like leaving the AC on but turning the temperature down or up, as the case may be. Because I've done that once or twice, just because like there might have been a day where it was like wet and cold, and then like an hour later, I'm like, nope, turn it back up.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm in that in between stage where my body needs to be like, oh, it's not going to be 90 plus. Let me go ahead and try to re-gear and readjust to the fact that anything lower than 50 is not cold anymore. Sometimes I hate my own personal physiology in that regard. Anyway, Wiggles, what you got for us? What's new and exciting for you? And that's actually the only question I have.
Well, more medical news. My knee still hurt, and particularly I had before it ran out. But my appointment to go see my general practitioner isn't for like another 35 days.
Jesus
So
Christ, man, that's I hate that because this is the thing. Like, short of going into urgent care or the emergency room, your next best bet is at a minimum of 2 weeks when you could be seen by somebody to be treated for something. Hello there, Stormbender. Thanks for joining us. And I absolutely hate. Now, I also don't get me wrong. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But I also understand why and how it happens. It's just that doctors have so many patients, and it's just improbable that you're going to be able to go in and get seen today, short of going to the emergency room. But then, of course, a lot of insurance carriers will charge you extra for that in the most succinct of terminology that can be used. So Wiggles, I feel for you, brother.
Yeah, until very recently, actually, there were no agent care facilities near me. The closest emergency care facility was in Bakersfield, which is about 65 miles away.
That's a solid hour plus drive.
Yeah, no, not great, not great.
No.
Medical transportation will get you over there, but they can't do it on no notice, which is understandable.
Well, you could always live closer to people. I'm joking when I say that. I'm joking. Listen, I'm not going to tell you to move closer for your medical convenience, because I can tell you one thing. If it weren't for the medical problems, it'd be great to be lived completely isolated from everyone else.
It is.
Yeah. I called and said I was supposed to leave a message for my GP to refilled, and I don't know if I'll get refilled until tomorrow.
Jesus, yeah. I'll tell you. Listen, we could probably spend the whole session talking nothing but horror stories about the American healthcare system. Short version is this: it sucks. That's it. That's all there is to it. It just sucks. Um,
I'm getting old now, so things hurt.
yeah. No, I
Yes, they do.
I don't even know. I don't even remember how this conversation went, which of course is in and of itself an indicator of my age. I can literally wake up after a decent night of sleep and be like, I'm sore. I have no idea why. It wasn't because I did any strenuous activity in the last 48 hours. It's just because I woke up because I slept for 4 of them on the same body part. Fucking
There
annoying.
was
Oh.
there was somebody I just saw on a Facebook reel or a TikTok. I can't remember which one it was. Basically, he's like making a comparison between being 20 of like going out and staying out. And he's like, "Hey, the sun's coming up." Three Red Bulls later, he's still able to function through the rest of the day.
Yep.
And then it cuts to like, "Oh, I gotta walk like 40 miles. Ain't no problem." Cut over to 41, and he's like, "Well, it's 7:30. Let's bring the cat in, put the dog out for the night. I'm going to bed."
Yeah, that's about
Oh,
it, man.
wait! I gotta walk 1.5 miles. I better make my appointment with the ER right now.
That sounds about right, man. Jesus. Going to the
You know,
doctor.
and then
Oh, Stormbender says going to the doctor for his hip in a couple weeks. Getting old sucks, bro. We got to stop this, man. we got to stop this getting old shit. Unfortunately, the only way to do that. ... That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was like, I used to be able to stay up 24 hours and it wasn't a big deal now, and now I'm like, oh God, no, no, please don't, no, I don't want to do that no more. That sounds bad.
So real quick, short story here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I was literally just before streaming, while still shoveling food into my face, discussing with my ex-wife birthday party plans for our about-to-be 10-year-old son. And of course, we're, like I said, she's my ex. We're not living together, so this is all texting and whatever. And the idea of laser tag comes up, and I'm like, ooh, that'll be a lot of fun, especially with a bunch of kids. And then she said something about, oh no, and then I said something to the effect of, I don't think I can still scoot and shoot anymore, so maybe I'll have to sit this, I'll go, but I'm not going to go play. And she's like, so you're not going to participate? I'm like, listen, I didn't say all this, but I'm like, listen, the last time I did any sort of scoot and shoot kind of shit, it didn't end well. I'm talking thigh muscles sore for 2 days afterwards because of all the low crouch running, walking that I'm going to be doing, trying to duck in and dodge in and out of obstacles and shoot kids in the chest with a laser. That's not real. Like,
Nice.
it's not going to go well. And that was years ago when I did that. When I was still relatively in shape. I mean, granted, round is a shape, but, Anyways, it made for an interesting conversation, and at the end of the day, I'm older by 1 day, and I don't like it, but I'm trying not to recognize that too often.
Yeah, the VA sent my significant other a cane.
Ugh.
On the plus side, we discovered the wide world of really cool looking canes.
I bet there is a huge market of cane options out there. Before you even get into like the stereotypical sword cane shit, I'm talking just like the artwork and craftsmanship and putting a cane together.
The trouble is, though, of course, when you're looking at the decorative canes, you have to make sure they're actually canes, so they're actually rated for weight,
Right.
and they're not cosplay objects.
Right. Which, of course, at this point, now that they're both functional and decorative, the price just went up by like the power of 4.
Yeah. Now the last cane we were looking at had a find me feature and a built-in light. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, a find me feature, a built-in light. It's like, there's a lot of hollow space in that cane, so why not?
I mean, it makes sense, and it's only inevitable. It is the 21st century, for crying out fucking loud. All right, speaking of the 21st century, let's go ahead and get this game going. I did not write a recap, so we're not going to hear me say the wonderful words of previously on Second Star. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very quick kind of winging recap, and then we'll get right into it. Last session, we went to Barrier Aerospace hangars. We attempted to procure 2 LC-10s, which are basically space planes. But that did not go so well because, as it turns out, the owners / corporate managers of Barrier Aerospace had in the previous 12 hours absconded, there's a big word for you, with their super high luxury Hayabusa space plane and all of the frickin' money, leaving the pilots and the ground crew behind with no idea of what's going on, all because Barrier Aerospace is about to be bankrupted. So we sat down with our patron, Iron Mike Tinkerson, came up with a plan because why did we come up with a plan? Well, we needed a plan because, as it turns out, Barrier Aerospace was contracted to go and pick up a bunch of staff and students from a remote station on the rogue planet. It's not rogue. I keep saying rogue. It's not really rogue. It's got an eccentric orbit. On the planet Grendel, there's a research station, and there's staff and students up there that are supposed to be coming back because that planet is about to go into its long, dark winter phase. So the plan is now to get up to Grendel using the LC-10s, and everybody being basically paid by Tankerson to do this. Gather the students, gather the staff, and come on back. And of course, all plans survive first contact with any opposition, and everything will be hunky-dory. We don't even need to roleplay this. We can cut straight to how everything turns out. That's a complete bowl of trash-filled lies. My last bit of notes I have from last week is that Reese and Karina, they are the two pilots for Barrier Aerospace. They will be flying out. One will be flying one will be flying the other, and then there's like some sort of trade thing going on between flying out and flying back so that Milligan can, I guess, rate these spacecraft. But we've got Reese and Karina, Milligan, Alicia Wyatt, Spearman, Aiello, and Blaine, as well as Tran, previously the navigator from the Wayfinder. These people are all going into space. And then George Wyatt, who may go into space simply to get off of the gravity, but is not going on the mission. And Tillman, anyway, Wyatt and Tillman will be inventorying the aerospace company's equipment. And then Hellwig, because he's now scared of space, will just be doing, I have forensics.
He's now scared of space in a game about space.
Yeah, I know, right? I want to re-clarify, or not re-clarify, but verify who is going and who is staying back, and then which player is running whom. So again, this is what I've got going. I've got Reese and Karina, Milligan, and between the three of them, Milligan's gonna fly one ship out, and then fly the other ship back.
Yep.
We've got Alicia Wyatt, who will be played by George Wyatt's actual player, Wiggles. For those that don't know, Alicia Wyatt is, of course, George Wyatt's wife. Then we got Spearman, Aiello, and Blaine being our quasi-ground security forces. And then we have Marshall Tran, for some reason, going along. I have him written in here, but I don't remember what his specific mission was going to be.
Oh, he's the spy.
He's the control. If anything happens to him, then we know the experiment is botched, right? Is that how that works?
He's the one leftover Empire of Mankind person.
He's the red shirt.
Yep, you got it. When whatever that thing is, it's not a tauntaun. That's what they rode. Whenever that other big thing comes along.
No, it was the tauntaun.
The tauntaun is what they rode.
Yeah.
That was the thing with the big goat horns. But the big abominable snowman thing, I can't remember what that was called.
Wampas.
Yeah.
Wampa or ice creature, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the Wampa comes knocking, I'll have Tran go take a look.
There you go. All right. So I guess my next question is Charles, who are you going to take over? And I don't have character sheets. We'll just wing it.
I obviously myself, and then who else did you say stayed behind? I'm sorry.
Well, Hellwig is staying behind. You're gonna do, I guess. I literally have the word forensics written down.
Probably that, or probably just help inventory the rest of the crap that's in the hangar and the offices to make sure that we're not missing something.
And that makes sense because Hellwig was always the Robin to George Wyatt's Batman.
Yep.
In previous episodes.
Yep.
And then Tillman is there because he's just a steward-ish, so. He needs something to do. And then again,
Yeah.
like I said, I have Tran. I guess we're just using him as an extra meat shield for no particular reason.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I mean, we'll be doing that, and I'll be like making sure, probably having our steward there trying to make the arrangements to get shipping vehicles over and make sure we know what we're packing up and what's going to go into the dumpster and things like that. So I'll
Okay.
probably be playing either one of those two characters,
And then
myself or
are you gonna? I'll offer you this.
yeah,
It looks like. I mean, obviously, I'll do Reese and Karina because those are straight up GM NPC.
yeah, yep.
Spearman, Aiello, and Blaine, your security forces, or for, I don't know what else to call them.
I'll do. I can't
You'll do
decide what I want to
Blaine
do.
and tell Spearman and Aiello
Yeah,
what to do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Because
That
I'm
works.
gonna play Spearman and Aiello as the comedic morons that they're meant to be.
There you go.
I'm like, this is what college looks like? No way.
Fat, dumb, and stupid is no way to get through life, son.
Oh crap!
Life is hard enough already. It's harder when you're stupid. Okay, are we ready then? I guess so. I guess what I'm getting at is ultimately my notes are correct as to who's going and who's staying. We pretty much left it with the closing of the meeting with Tankerson to make this mission take place. So basically, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Milligan stayed behind at the starport. I keep wanting to say airport. But Milligan stayed behind at the starport to do a little bit of snooping around, but also to do a once over on the vehicle, on the spacecraft. Jesus Christ! On the spacecraft, and they were already fueled up, or they were about to be fueled up, or something along the lines. Ideally, the plan was to leave at like 8 or 9 o'clock that evening, even though it still looks like it's 11 a.m. outside, based on the position of the sun in the sky.
Right.
Am I missing anything? Am I forgetting anything? That was a really hellishly long and unorganized recap / prep to get going here. I'm gonna go with
Nope.
Go ahead. All right, so we're good. All right, so a little bit of narration here. The two space planes eventually taxi out of the hangar and get into position and lift off. It's probably about 10 p.m. local time. For some reason I have in my notes that you guys left in the first thing in the morning the next day. Does that sound right to you guys?
Sure.
We were gonna
Yeah.
leave at the end of the day.
That's what I thought too, but I have it in my
Yeah.
notes that's whatever. All right.
Oh, the plan was to leave at the end of the same day.
Yeah,
And
that's
we
what I
wanted
thought.
to, and they were pushing and pushing to get us on the roster to be able to taxi and take off and everything.
Yeah, to get the flight plan.
Yeah. So it can be whenever it needs to be, but the plan was to do it by the end of the first day.
I'll back up my timing here by about 12 hours. So anyway, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 p.m., you're in orbit. You're just waiting for that last if this was the Kerbal Space Program, you're waiting for your maneuver node to come back around. If you don't know what that means, you're just waiting for the right moment to kick off away from the planet and in the direction of Grendel, or at least where Grendel will be when you get there.
Right.
This will be about a 12-hour flight. I'm not going to have anybody roll any dice or anything. We don't really need to do that. But a couple things. About an hour out, once you do maneuver away from Beowulf and are underway, obviously you're at stutter warp here. Your sensors or what have you pick up a system ship running supplies out to, I'm not going to say this right, so just bear with me, the Mothra, just the local asteroid belt. They have some freaking, I think it's Viking mythology name here.
Mhm.
I'm not going to get it right. Anyway,
It's all from Beowulf,
yeah, it's all from the Beowulf stories.
like
Beowulf,
grunting and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, a ship is headed out to the asteroid belt. And also to recap for those that don't know or don't remember, there have been in the last few days several pirate raids across the asteroid belt. It has been reported on the news, and is actually part of the reason why nobody is in position to retrieve the students and staff. The other part of the reason, of course, being the Barrier Aerospace that was supposed to do it that just said, no, we're done, we're out. The military assets that were set to go to Grendel to get the kids and the staff were diverted out to the asteroid belt because somebody out there is playing fuck around and trying to find out. This
And
ship... Go ahead.
We are 100% unarmed, right?
Unless you guys want to... Your ships are unarmed, yes.
Yes.
If you want to bring extra gear with you...
Oh, I'll bring it. Yeah, oh yeah.
I feel like you were just like, please, just all you have to do is breathe something in the direction of yes. Man, all my shit's going to be magically in the cockpit with me. Yeah,
We've got to put it somewhere. We don't have any. We don't have a home anymore.
No, you have a home.
Drag it all around.
I think technically
I'm not leaving my stuff in a flop house.
No, I think technically you're still in a hotel. You haven't quite moved into the transient housing that Tankerson was getting set up for you guys. Anyway, yeah. So you have your
show
gear.
Those academics.
Yeah. So you do have your gear. The 3 Marines all have some basic armored vac suit, for lack of a better thing to call it, as well as rifles and sidearms, knives. Plenty of, there's basically their standard field kit minus like, they're not in there with like 8 bags of extra garbage. It's just literally what they can carry on them. And then obviously whatever other gear you guys would normally have that you want to bring along. But yeah, so this ship it identifies itself as the Ink and Gold Smile. It is heading outbound towards the asteroid belt where presumably all of the pirates have been. This is still about 1 hour into the 12-hour flight.
Who's working sensors?
That's a good question. Who is working sensors?
Tran can work sensors, right?
Why not? I'll give him a +1 total combined modifier for sensor.
Established lore.
There you go. Wiggles is about to blow up the chat.
So I'll have Tran on whatever shuttle I'm on. And then we'll have, is it Alea? Is that how you say it?
Alicia. Well, I've always thought it was Alea. I think I actually went with Alia, but then Wiggles kept calling her Alicia. So her name just starts with an A. No, it's Alicia.
I want her to be like the command person on the other shuttle. But I don't know who else is with us that has any sensor skill.
Oh, she do. I actually just reposted her character sheet in our private Discord channel.
Ah, the private one. Super secret one.
Yeah, where we just constantly post, traveler smut.
So I'm gonna.
My traveler smut
private.
My traveler smut. What really happens is me saying things like, "Hey, are we gaming tonight?" That's about the extent of our chat history. Okay, so we got Reese is with Milligan in this spacecraft with Tran on sensors, and Wyatt is on the other one. The 3 Marines are split, so probably... Oh, that's not a good idea. Well, we'll have Spearman and Aiello in one and Blaine on the other. So I think, Milligan, you've got Blaine, and then the other 2 are in the other one.
Okay.
I love you're like, yes! I don't have the 2 shitheads with me. Anyways, so we have this ship on sensors. Your nav data for it is plotting it out. It looks like it's heading out to the local asteroid belt, whose name I cannot pronounce.
We don't have what we need to capture drive signatures, do we? Do we need a GADS to do that?
That's a great question. I think you can at least record the sensor data you do receive and then try to match it later on. I feel like that would just give you a not so great... Like it might give you like a -1 or 2 modifier or something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell Tran, any ship that comes within sensor range of us, I want as much data collected on it as you can and saved.
I want all the tapes. All of them. Do you want to contact them or anything, or do you want to just let them go?
If they don't raise any comms, I'm not going to raise any comms.
Yeah, it's reading as just a regular system ship. It looks like it's just a basic, not even necessarily a cargo ship. It's I don't know, random spacecraft of nondescript design. About 4 hours into your 12-hour flight, there is a ship registering as the Beluga Hauler, a Thorez class courier ship, inbound, heading for Beowulf. Their path will not exactly intersect, and nothing within danger range, but just passing by nearby.
We'll swing out just enough to make that gap a little wider.
Give them a little
And
extra breathing room.
Yep, and I tell Tran to keep mind the gap.
Okay.
I want to know if it gets any closer to us than it should.
Yeah. During about that time too, while you're making that maneuver and everything else, you've been picking up along the way various news updates, random comms traffic, and traffic advisories and things like that. But the gist that you're getting is that the raiding and the fighting in the asteroid belt has, as of approximately noon Aliceport Standard Time, has rendered the belt basically off limits to civilian traffic. That might be a little bit more extreme than what I mean, but basically it's been made. If you're just out there for shits and giggles and you don't have a legit reason to be there, you will be turned away. You could be fired upon, and that's by the local authorities. Not obviously the pirates don't give a shit. They'll shoot in whoever they want to shoot. However, by about 1800, that warning actually escalates. Now, this is obviously a handful of hours ago, so this is probably about 4 to 6 hours prior to you even getting off the ground or whatever. That has actually escalated to no civilian traffic without. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Give me a second. Basically, anybody there without being registered, either military, part of a legit mining organization, or any sort of humanitarian aid, will be potentially forcibly, but ultimately pushed out. Like it's off limits. It's a hot zone, basically. Does that make any sense?
But that's nowhere we need to go to get to where we're going, correct?
No. You're just picking up these notifications and stuff because you're out that way. And of course, you've got a handful of ships that are, some are heading out, some are heading in. There is a report of a pirate vessel being spotted near the inner system. They don't give like a specific. If this was a 2D plot, you would get a grid coordinates, but it's a 3D plot, so you would get something similar. But you get a rough area where it was last seen and a general heading of where it was going, and it plots something like, if you diverted your current course, you could actually intercept in about 2 to 3 hours of altered flight time. So there is like an increased bit of tension. Even Reese is like, ooh, yeah, I was in that Central Asian War. Maybe we should damn, there's really no good way to tighten this up. That pirate could get closer. I don't know. I said Reese was in your ship, right, Thurgor?
I think so.
Yeah, what? Lore.
Yep. Yeah, I tell Tran to keep a really close eye on those sensors because we are in no position to get into a fight right now.
You're in no condition to get into a fight.
We're flying what? Then, 7 hull points? Is that what we're flying?
Yeah, a shoebox with no guns. And then lastly, at about let's see, if you guys took off around 7 hours, it's like 4 a.m. local time. With about 4 to 5 hours remaining, there is an actual mining vessel that comes by. Shows up heading in system, and you are actively being hailed.
Okay. I have Tran scan them to check for damage or whatnot, and
it looks rough.
I'll answer the hail.
Yeah, it looks rough. Like you do. I imagine Tran would do some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? God. Basically paint the hull and try to get like a silhouette sort of deal, and you could see that there are multiple high caliber machine gun type penetrations along the aft end of one side of it. I just imagine something like, a 50 caliber type round, dozens of them penetrating one side of the hull and arguably exiting the other side. You get a young woman. Her name is, I'm just gonna make one up real fast. Bethany Ardot. She is the second officer of the ship. The captain is dead. We are currently inbound from the asteroid belt, trying to get to Beowulf. Do not approach Beowulf. And then it's like you hear it like, so you got hailed, and it's on a repeater though. So basically, they're sending out this repeated message over and over and over. So once you recognize and accept it, you get this message again and again and again.
And it says not to approach Beowulf.
No, if I said that, I apologize. I meant
okay.
the asteroid belt. They are inbound to Beowulf.
Right.
Basically, let me see if I got this right. Basically, they're carrying messages warning anyone that they might come across to stay away from the asteroid belt, as the pirates out there are raiding, and they are easily wiping out anyone in their way, and their attacks appear to be completely random. Evidently, military assets are en route, but no one seems to know if the local military is going to be sufficient for them. And this is the gist of what her message is. Obviously, I didn't write up a full-on what's dealing. You are picking up some traffic from the military side of things, but obviously it's military stuff, so you're not only getting like stay away from here. If you happen to between these two, if you end up being anywhere between this point and that point, we are asking that you get out of the way, because you're basically clearing their way so the assets can get out there. There is a news channel that you pick up late in the flight, but it's nothing new. It's just another reminder that there's some pirate activity out in the belt, and the local military is currently investigating. Excuse me. Any conversations or anything you want to do? Anything you guys want to do while you're on this tin can floating through space at subluminal speeds?
I'll reach out to that ship just to make sure that, I don't know, there's people on board.
There is. They'll hail you back.
I ask them, I ask them if they're flight worthy, if they're good to make it back to Beowulf.
Bethany Ardot does come back on a second channel. This one's a tight beam. And she answers the question. Yes, the ship's flight worthy. We've got some holes in the hull, but nothing we can't handle. Captain's dead. So and so lost. So and so hurt. We should be okay. We've only got about another 6 or 8 hours, it looks like, before we hit orbit, so we'll be fine. But we just wanted to make sure that anybody heading out in that general direction just doesn't go that way. It's bad. Like, I'm talking mining. Let me out here. What's the word I'm looking for? Mining installations have been heavily damaged. It's like the pirates are attacking specifically mining installations and ships, and not much else. I don't know what the right word is for, like, I know obviously the mine, right?
Right.
But like, imagine,
They call it a mine.
Imagine, on this giant asteroid, there's people that would actually land, and there's probably some sort of like dome or something like that, so they have at least some sort of breathable air where they can like take their shit off and relax. And then they've got the actual mining going on, and then there's probably some sort of method by which to get the stuff they mine up to a ship, whether it's just literally fling it into space and hope somebody catches it, whatever the case might be. But those are being wiped out, almost as if they're being specifically targeted.
That's kind of odd. More profit for the pirates to hit the laden ships than it is to blow up the installations making the money.
I mean, maybe they're under a contract or do something silly. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Yeah. Any other like conversations or anything you guys want to do amongst yourselves, or shall we go ahead and proceed to approach orbit and descent at Grendel?
I just want to, tell them to, fly safe. Thanks for the heads up.
I'm laughing at the fly safe. That wasn't Bethany Ardot laughing. Although she might have given you one of those like, yeah, we're trying over here. And
Give her
definitely
my
not
caps.
sarcastic. It's got a little bit of a bite to it.
Have my capsuleer salute.
Yeah. Uh,
Alrighty.
okay. As you
So
guys, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to talk to Reese about what to expect as far as a landing goes. Hang on, I got a cramp
Billy.
right in the bottom of my foot.
Oh, son of a bitch! I hated those. You know, I used to get those when I would swim as a kid. Like it would feel like two toes in the middle of one foot had crossed over each other
Uh-huh.
to the point where it's like I gotta actually see my toes. Hold on. And of course, my toes look fine, but man, they did not feel fine.
Nope. Alrighty.
All right, so
So,
okay, go ahead. You wanted to ask
so
Reese something.
what does he spill out as far as what to expect as far as landing go?
Well, what I guess the only way to really answer that question is what do you like? What do you think we're going to see? Like, what are you asking exactly? I guess specificity. I got that on the first try.
Is there anything prevailing that I need to know about? A
Some wind.
particular direction or strength of the wind? You know, that kind of thing. Or is it
Uh,
all just going to be random? Is it going to be chaotic?
Well, it looks like we'll probably be coming down in the mid to late afternoon, so it could potentially be quite rough. You know, that's the time when the temperature, and mind you, this is local atmospheric time, and I want to be clear when I
Right.
say that, not local time like the time on the wall piece. I'm talking like the local atmospheric time based on like the position of the sun hitting the surface of the planet and the way that that affects weather.
Right.
Um, Without looking, I know I posted a handout for Grendel in the Discord the other day, and I want to say it's something like a 40-hour day. It might actually be 80 hours. I don't remember now. Without looking again, but you know when you get the local area can get warmed up during the mid afternoon, and then by late afternoon and towards sunset, that cooler air comes in, and depending on the amount of moisture content and some other various things that I don't understand because I'm not a weather guy, you get that cool air, you get that warm air, and they mix, and now you have a afternoon or late afternoon, early evening thunderstorm. And
Yep.
that's what he explains when he answers
Heating
your
showers.
question.
Yeah.
What's that?
Heating showers is what we call them in the South.
Well, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Freezing and bucking. I like my touch. Oh my god, I like my touchdown like I like my wow. Wow. God damn it, Wiggles. I'm almost afraid to see what kind of there isn't any chat in the TTS chat. Okay. So yeah, so other than that, like good chance we'll be landing in some storms. Temperatures will be dropping. Of course, you know, once sun sets, a lot of times, especially this time of the at this point in the Grendel year, you'll get storms that start late afternoon, early evening, and they'll go all the way up until roughly midnight. And then it's just the rain will fade off because it gets too cold to do anything. You might get some snow, and then everything basically freezes over. And you have to wait until the sun comes up again in order to do anything outside because literally everything is covered in a sheet of ice. I know you know what I'm talking about when I say that. And that's directed to you, Thora.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what that's like when you go out to your car and it's literally covered in ice.
Yep.
But yeah, that's probably the kind of thing that we're gonna expect. You know, a late day shower storm. Probably some rough wind. But oh, that's weird. We're not getting any active pings or we're not getting any pings or active guidance from the navsats. That's weird. At this point, you're actually entering orbit around the planet. Reese will call over to the other ship to verify that they are also not getting any pings or active guidance from the nav satellites. And also disturbing is that there is no contact with the ComSat or the survey satellite. The survey satellite, according to Karina and the other ship, is currently only sending a basic ping, which means it probably underwent a hard reset recently.
So how do we bring it back online?
That's a great question. What it probably means is that the ground station has been reset. Is what Between Karina and Reese, that's what they come up with.
Okay. So we don't have to do anything to the actual satellite.
No, it's probably just repeating. So basically, the satellite is the short version is this: communication from the ground of Grendel to the ground of Beowulf, assuming all other things work, sketchy at best because of the way that the atmosphere is composed. It's nitrogen, methane, and it fucks with comms basically. So what they do is they have a ground-based station that sends periodic information blasts up to the satellite because it can at least do that much when the satellite is overhead. And then the satellite relays everything from there. The fact that the satellite is only doing a basic ping means that it is not getting regular updates or regular communication, in fact, in general, with the ground station. The satellite's just sitting there going, waiting for new data. Waiting for new data. Waiting for new data. Ad nauseum. Because I'm not going to keep doing that.
Uh-huh.
I like my outposts like I like my woman. No guidance, going in blind. And Karina also reports that she's trying to raise the station, but she's only getting static so far. And she's also recommending that they do at least one orbital pass in order to get some sort of eyes on the station before descending.
Okay. Also, I want Tran to be scanning the weather to see if we're looking at any fronts or anything major.
There is
any kind of timelines or whatnot.
There is a storm as expected, and it looks like it will probably hit the station around sunset.
How many hours is that?
About 2,
Ugh,
maybe 3.
That's not going to be enough time for us to land and grab everybody and get out, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean this is what Reese is telling you as well, because
right.
Reese
I'm gonna take their word for it because they're used to doing this. So
yeah, because the general profile of what would normally happen is that they would land, then a bunch of stuff would get loaded, the ships would go back, they'd come back. Like, this would be a multiple trip sort of thing. So he's not expecting to literally just land like a combat dust-off sort of scenario. Like, this is going to land, probably be on the ground overnight, and then in the morning take off, just because it'll take that long to get things loaded. Because as of right now, this is the only flight coming to get stuff.
It's a good thing he came then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd have been like, only what you can carry, get on board.
Only
get to the chopper.
Only to get struck by lightning and stuck on the planet's surface while everything freezes over.
Right.
All right, what do you want to do? You're in orbit. You've you've done the one pass over.
Oh, okay.
But more importantly, well, let me rephrase that. So you're waiting up on the next pass to do a direct line of sight image scan of the station. You have literally no comms with the ground.
That's normal, right?
I mean, again,
without
sketchy.
The satellites.
Yeah, without the satellites, I mean, that would be your normal means of communication, would be through the satellite, when the satellite, of course, has line of sight to the ground station.
Right.
Your onboard ship equipment could probably raise them, but you're currently getting nothing. But that makes sense. A comms disruption can mean only one thing: invasion. Extra cool points if you know where I stole that from. It's about 20 years old, I'll say that. Come on. Anybody?
I can see it.
Phantom Menace.
Oh. Yep.
I wasn't listening.
That's okay. It's fine. Nobody got cool points. You guys suck. You got suckage points. That's what you got. Anyway, no, I'm playing. Everything is pointing at this point to a straight up comms disruption. Of course, the specifics and all that is obviously unknown, which is why Karina is pushing for that at least one, possibly 2 passes, so they can get some good imaging of the station before descending.
Okay. Well, if we don't get a good enough on the first pass, we'll do one more pass and then we'll land no matter what. Because we definitely need to get. How long does a pass take though? If this front's going to be here in 2 hours, I want to be on the ground for the front.
I think what's the International Space Station orbit at? Something like an hour and a half per orbit.
I don't know. It moves wicked fast.
Yeah, it's just over 90 minutes to go all the way around the world.
But it's also kind of high up. It's like a few hundred kilometers high, if I'm not mistaken.
and still visible to the naked eye.
Yep.
Correct. Well, yeah, let's just say it's going to take at least an hour and a half for a single pass, point to point, along the orbit. You could, of course, attempt to tighten your orbit, but the time it would take to do that, to have a meaningful effect, would take longer than the time you actually have. I'm using my.
So what is our
Kerbal
first
Space-
pass?
Go ahead.
What does our first pass show?
I'll give you 3 guesses what it shows.
Nothing, nothing, and nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on all 3. It shows.
No. My 3 guesses are the McRib bag for a limited time.
Wait, what? Say that again?
The McRib.
The McRib is back for a limited time. Jesus Christ! Somebody wrote.
Get the
Somebody
Szechuan
walked.
sauce.
Somebody walked. Szechuan sauce. Somebody walked those letters into the mud.
Oh.
My second guess, right? Is no. Apparently, I don't have a second guess. Nothing came up.
All right. Well, it's not the McRib.
Never mind.
It is not Szechuan sauce. Sorry to disappoint, but you're used to it because McDonald's hasn't had it for years. No, on your pass, the imaging that you're able to pull up from the station doesn't reveal anything out of the ordinary or anything definitive as to the reason why there's a comms disruption. It's just that there's everything up from this high up looks fine. You can't get better resolution.
I'll ask Reese what he thinks about the incoming front and doing one more pass, or should we go ahead and land
We
now?
need to go ahead and start our landing cycle.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I agree.
If we don't start our landing now, we're gonna be landing and we're gonna get dumped on. In that storm,
Right.
I'm no meteorologist, but that's gonna be some rain. That's gonna be a good one. Like, I mean, but at this time of year, that's normal. Like, this is not out of the unusual. So he kind of looks at you. He's like, Karina says it's now or never. So I guess we should do this. I'm not sure if you're in charge or if I'm in charge, but
I'm like, I mean, I've been flying up to this point. I flew
okay.
this ship out here.
I guess I
He's
assumed
going to
he
fly
was.
this.
I assumed he was actually doing the actual hand on stick, and you were like directing.
No, because I need to
Jesus
know
Christ,
that
Michaels. I'm sorry.
I need to know that it does what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it. So I was going to fly this ship out there and the other ship back.
That's what I thought. Okay. So yeah, no, Reese is kind of like, yeah, it's now or never, man.
All right, let's do it.
All right. As you break into the upper levels of the atmosphere, your sensors are picking up a faint heat flicker at the very edge of their detection range.
On the planet or in space?
It's registering in space, low orbit.
Son of a. Is that all he gets? Is a heat signature? He doesn't get anything about a ship.
It's not even a signature. It's a faint heat flicker at the edge of range. I love that response.
I'm like, gather whatever you can on that, Tran.
Let me think for a second here. Reese, actually, Reese did state he was. I don't remember what his job was. So I'm just gonna roll real quick and just go for a flat 10 here. Nope. Yeah, nothing specific. Reese is like, that's really odd. I've never seen that before.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Is this not kind of what that other ship looked like when it would?
No.
No.
I don't remember exactly the words I used. You're talking about the stealth ship when it was tailing you.
Yep.
You guys kind of, sort of, but didn't really pick it up. All right, so that.
Was that not little heat blips?
No, it might have been. I don't remember how I described it, but basically what I do remember was you weren't able to get a range estimate of any sort of validity. Like, the numbers you were given for how far away from you it was were absolutely ridiculous. Anywhere from a half astronomical unit to 1,000 astronomical units. It was completely incongruous and just unworkable. What you're picking up here is maybe visually on the sensor board the same thing, but it is clearly defined as being right at the edge of the detection range. So if your sensors could reach 1,000 meters, or excuse me, 1,000 kilometers, it's sitting at right at 998.2. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Oh my God, Wiggles! Dude, what has he got? A book of these?
Probably.
Can we train a tight beam on that?
I'll make you roll for it. You can use sensors or gunnery. Your difficulty is going to be 12, though.
Oh,
Sensors
that's
are
probably not going to
either
happen.
sensors or gunnery because of the nature of what you're trying to do, or
Right.
comms, and
Yeah, I've
use
got electronic
education.
comms.
Yeah, and use education. You're going to need a 12 to get anything of a significant return, though.
All right. What the
So,
heck?
unless you got a +7 somewhere.
Oh. That one took forever to get to 6. That's hilarious.
Well, because it
Oh, it
fell right on
didn't
the...
even register as a 6.
Because it
Yeah,
fell
okay.
right on the edge of the board there.
Yeah.
What
Someone
you
labeled
get...
a lock that on.
Alicia can try.
Go for it.
All right.
I just
thing.
let her know there's a suspicious, heat signature behind us. I was just going to pop out a quick message to him saying,
Eat at Joe's.
we all said hi.
We see
Hi,
you.
Fred.
We see you. Go ahead and make that roll, Alicia. You're gonna need a 12 plus though.
Let's see
And you're
here.
not and because you are currently in descent, in the nature of all the other things, you do not have the option of taking your time.
Ooh.
All right, come on, baby. +3. Let's go.
I'm making this like incredibly difficult, but I'm supposed to. So
Yeah, 9 or higher.
nope, that's a 7.
Often not 9.
no, often 7 is not a 9. I will give you this though. It does appear as though there is some sort of heat sink activity going on, but there's no way for you to verify or confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
But based on the sensor data you are getting, that there is some sort of heat sink thing taking place. Moving on. During re-entry, obviously plasma will form around the ships as your ships, the shock of their passage compresses the air around them, and this is going to absolutely cut off communications. So basically, even for a brief time, even the ships won't be able to talk to each other. But once you've passed through that initial re-entry shock, communications will work again. And once you are line of sight over the station, you actually start picking up the following communication. Imagine this is a young woman speaking in a crisp, upper-class English accent. This is Llewellyn Station, Grendel, calling any ships in range. We are stranded, have suffered damage, and require assistance. Please help. And a moment or two passes. This is Llewellyn Station, Grendel, calling any ships in range. We are stranded, have suffered damage, and require assistance. Please help.
So we'll get on the comms and let them know that we've got 2 shuttles inbound.
Yeah, all right.
You attempt to send the signal or send the message, and you get nothing back in response. You hear once again, this is Llewellyn Station, Grendel, calling any ships in range.
Yeah.
We are stranded, have suffered damage, require assistance. Please help.
Okay.
Any one of you in the spaceship, please give me an intelligence roll.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
All right, Kool-Aid man, calm down. Bingo, got it.
Okay.
Milligan is able to pick up that there are some subtle but noticeable... Well, that doesn't make any sense. There are distinct let me say that again.
She's just repeating herself.
It's
not a repeating message.
Exactly.
Yes,
This is not a recording. This is live.
Okay.
Every time
they just
she
have
speaks,
no comms.
Yeah. Every time she
They only
speaks,
have
it doesn't
outbound.
come out. It comes. Yeah. It's like she's got a note card in front of her.
Okay. Is there like any kind of emergency band radio or anything?
It's funny you mentioned that. You're currently sitting at just under 5,000 meters distance from the station, and everybody's links start ringing on the emergency channel. It's like people have been trying to reach out, and suddenly everybody's link starts lighting up with emergency call. Will you accept?
Yeah. I'm like, patch that through the comms there, somebody.
Yeah, no, Reese is like, done. You get, on the other end, you pick up a what sounds like someone in their like, I don't know, early to late teen years. Oh my god! Oh my god! Hold, hey, hello, is someone? And suddenly it switches to this weird mix of Scottish and Italian accent. Thank the spirit.
Okay,
I can't
you're
do
gonna
this
have to
accent.
do that because
I can't
you
do
have
this.
to. I can't
Can't
quite wrap
do
my
this.
mind around
Listen,
that.
I
You're
can
gonna have
barely
to do
get
it.
one or the other with any sort of consistency or capability. You're asking me to meld the two? That's not gonna happen, bro.
Wait. Maybe I can do it.
Go for it.
It's a me, Mario.
Close, but not really. You get
That's just a really pissed off Italian.
yeah. You hear
Oh,
what
man.
sounds like somebody dropping a phone, and then it's picked up and thank the spirit of man. We're so glad you came. Again in that ridiculous accent.
Well, I let him know we got 2 LC-10s coming in for a landing.
Oh yes, I can see you now. I'm not gonna try that accent. I'm sorry, guys. It would be hilarious if I could pull it off, but I just. What you do notice as he's responding to you is that you can hear the sounds of your own engines as you are approaching through
Oh,
the
yeah, must be-
comms.
Wait a minute. Are they standing around outside?
No, in fact, they're not.
Oh, that means there's a hole somewhere.
Well, that and or the soundproofing that should have been there is not working correctly.
All right. Well, let's get these ships on the ground.
All right, let me go ahead and pull up my little thingy here. That does not sound right. Oh my god, I'm going to hell. Where is my little map card deal? Oh, I put it in.
I don't know. I'll play your silly game. Where is your little map card?
Deal.
Oh, I don't want to. Hold on. Hold on. Opponents. Cards. No, I have these saved. Where are they saved at?
Gross, Wiggles. That's all your
I like
last
my
one.
little map card like I like my women. They tell me where it is, but it's still hard to find.
Oh man, I don't even want to know what I just heard. Where is? What did I name it? Damn it! I know. I just saw this. I know I have it. Give me a second, guys. It's in here somewhere. Totally spacing where I left it. It's not in my saved objects. I thought it would be. Let me think for a second here.
Oh, dang it. I'm not signed in. I can't comment.
Oh, you're not logged into Twitch?
Uh-uh.
I don't
I
even know
made
if I
a
want to
log in, but I'm not finding it.
Hold on. Why am
I
I?
just have to do it again.
It's in. Oh, duh! I'm looking in the wrong goddamn place. Jesus Christ! I promise my brain knows how to work. Go ahead and drop. No.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
There's no 90-degree corners in any of this stuff, so it's going to be so cold.
Yeah, but at least we don't have to worry about anybody edgy and trying to stand in a corner.
Oh man! All right, there we go.
Yeah, I was hoping for those 90-degree corners.
Do not accept checks from them. Okay. That's the station itself. Now let me pull up.
And it's all on one level. It's all flat like that.
No,
Single story.
Stand by.
No.
Oh.
So it looks like that there's second floors of some of these nubbins here.
Oh.
There's like stairwells.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
That's not a really good. This button. What button is the? Oh, it's plus. Not that plus.
I had tried to type
There
in,
we
I
go.
like my ex like I like Grendel. No way to communicate.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So the little map there is the overhead approach, obviously, of what the station looks like. There are 2 floors. So basically, there's the garage, which is the big round bit, obviously where it says garage ground floor. I believe the garage is 2 stories, but I think it's just 2 stories tall, one big cavernous thing. We got a couple of the modules that are connected to this main, we'll say hallway in the middle, and then the ground floor, and then the first floor for each individual module. If that makes any sense at all. Let me put my camera here. Get off of my desk right now.
Okay, I understand a different country may have done this. Obviously, a different country did this.
Mongoose, I believe, is centered in Britain. In the
Right. So
in what was one
first
time called
floor,
the English Empire.
right. So the ground floor should be the rooms that are attached to the hallway, not the first floor, right?
You know, you actually might have a point.
I mean, they're pretty much identical anyway, but there's a few differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they labeled them wrong.
That's actually entirely possible. Also, these maps come from a module that was from first edition Mongoose Traveler, so who knows what that means.
Well,
at
they
any
were still
rate,
British back then.
yeah, well, yeah, they were. So yeah, so the landers will land. I'm actually gonna put the little dealie here. The token. That's where you guys. That's the landing pad there. Where it says 2 here. Is it tab? Or just drop that arrow. Cat, get off of my damn desk. Move your butt. Move. Anyway, station or item 2 is the landing beacon. I guess that would be your, instrument flight system or whatever the hell it's called. FLS, ILS. And then 3, what is it? IFS? Whatever it is. We know what I'm talking about. And then item 3 here is the this dome over here. That's not the button. That is the comm station. You could see this as you're exiting the ship. There are some large holes punched through it.
To the comm
That makes
station.
it go faster.
Yeah. Let me pull my notes back up. The landers will sit down on the cleared landing strip, as you can see on the map there, coming to a halt beside the dome. As you touch down, 2 guys in some rather large, bulky environment suits approach. They're both, you could see, I'm assuming for the moment you could see them through like the portholes. You haven't actually started exiting the ship just yet. You can see that they have a name tag on their suits, and then one of them is actually carrying a double-barreled shotgun. But he has it in a low ready, which is basically, ready to lift it, shoot at any moment, but it's not really pointed at any particular thing. And I imagine by this point you guys are actually starting to come out of the ships.
Yep. I'm for sure gonna, what's her name? The security person that's with me?
Blaine.
Blaine. I'm gonna ask her to, take position outside the ship pretty quick. One of them is armed.
Yeah, Blaine will go out
And I'm gonna follow her quickly. I got my armored vac suit on and my laser rifle.
Yeah, basically Blaine will what's the word I want to use here? She'll come down basically I am imagining like a ramp in kind of like Starfield. She'll come down to the ramp and kind of off to one side. But also in a position where she can very easily hose down anybody approaching the ramp if she needed to.
Yep.
And
I'll take a position on the opposite side of the ramp.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 guys come up as everybody else is coming out of the landers, and they start getting to work right away. And what they are doing, other than saying hello, and actually, let me back up. One guy is Price, the other guy's name is Burnham, according to the name tags on on their suits. For some reason, I didn't indicate which one's carrying the weapon, so
He's stowed it at this point, right?
yeah. I mean, he's still because he's getting ready to use both hands.
Right.
He's he'll sling it over his back or whatever the case might be for a bulky spacesuit. Hey, so glad you guys are here. Professor Grimaldi is inside. And they don't really say anything else. They just get to work. They both start grabbing cables and attaching them to the landers. And what they do basically is like they'll run the cables around the landing gear, and then they will cinch it down with this powered ratchet system. So it tightens the cables, and so that there's like all sorts of tension, and they'll keep tightening it down until the gear itself actively like flexes or compresses or whatever you want to call it. Does that make sense? So you guys get where I'm going with this, right? So basically,
It
the ratcheting,
refuses to do any more work. Yeah.
yeah, they're ratcheting down the ships, and one guy, is Price is the name on his suit. He just looks up, he's like, standard procedure. Also, there's a storm. We got about an hour. And he doesn't say anything else again. Like, he just keeps working on it, and then the two of them will finish up the one lander and head on over to the other one. Off in the distance, you could see the actual habitats, or the station rather. So what you see is like what you see on the handout or the maps or what have you. So these habitats are all resting on massive concrete anchors, and there is like a web of guy wires spinning out from the 5 modules and the garage. As I mentioned, the comm dome, which is right there near the landing pad, has a pair of fist-sized holes in it, along with several more smaller holes in the power module, which is closer to the actual station proper. And then in the distance near the station, it seems that there's like this statue sort of thing out in front of the station.
Really?
That's what it looks like.
Quick
from
question.
here.
Spearman and Aiello
Quick,
both
Blaine,
have
shoot the weather. I'm sorry, Thurgor. I'm
Spearman-
sorry.
Spearman and Aiello both have like mechanic 1, right? As part of being on damage control crew.
If not 1, then probably 0. They're too young
0,
yet to
okay.
really have a lot more than only what they absolutely have to have, which would be like rifle 1, heavy weapon 1. Anyway, but
So
yeah,
how is
go ahead.
is Aaliyah outfitted well enough to spend any time in the comm dome right now, or does she need different gear to do that because of the weather?
She would have. Well, she's in a spacesuit, so that's designed for space. So, and space gets near absolute freezing when it's when it's in shade. So probably fine.
Well, I think the bigger question is with her being in a spacesuit, would she still be able to keep her tools accessible on her, around her, what have you? I think that's more or less the question that was being asked.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, she's probably not happy lugging them on. And what's the gravity on this planetoid?
It's about 0.7, 0.8.
Oh yeah,
So about
no, it's
3/4
fine.
gravity.
Just tie a rope to them and just kind of drag them around, and they just bounce.
I don't know if bounce. I guess it would kind of bounce.
I asked her if she's up to taking Spearman and Aiello to the comms dome and check out the damage there while I go talk to Professor Grimaldi.
While you guys are starting to have that conversation, Price is like, we should get inside first. I said we have an hour. I don't know if we actually have an hour.
All right. And what's her face is going to look around and go, what did the damage?
Oh, it was a really bad storm that rolled through last night. Like, really bad storm.
All right.
Like uncharacteristic for the season?
Normal for later, like in about 4 weeks. It was a little bit early and it came out of nowhere.
Okay, we're just wondering because there's pirate activity up in the related
of course
asteroid
there
belt.
is. I don't know if that's exactly his response. He definitely has one of those like fucking shit kind of responses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's more, just more.
just more salt for this open
Pile it on,
wound.
pile it on.
Yeah, just bring it. What else are you gonna tell me now? All the lettuce is brown.
We only have room for 4 people leaving.
And it's like
y'all are gonna have to duke it out to see who gets to go.
What was there, like 8 or 9 and a dog?
It's
or
like
something?
10. It's 10 counting the dog, I think, or it's 10
something
plus
like that,
the dog
yeah.
1. Yeah.
But yeah, so Price and Burnham are kind of like, they're not actively or physically pushing, but they're definitely urging like we should probably get inside. And if you take a moment and look around, the natural, or what's the word I'm looking for? What the ambient light has drastically changed just in the last 10 or 15 minutes of being on the ground. Like the cloud cover has already started.
Mhm. All right, let's head that way then.
All right, so you'll head inside. You go into the garage, because that's where they take you. It looks like that airlock may or may not cycle correctly. This one right here. Actually, fuck it. We'll just say there's obviously going to be some sort of airlock system for the garage, because how else do you get the vehicles out? Duh.
Oh, do you see how there's little
No.
brake lines on one of the sides?
Oh,
The
yeah,
vehicles.
yeah, these little itty bitty lines over here. Yeah, that's how you get the vehicles in and out. Got it.
No. That's in reference to the fact that it's a door. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah, probably, because each square is supposed to be something like 5 feet or a meter and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume any vehicles they have are pressurized and
Oh, yeah.
sealed against the environment here. So
Well, it's
the
funny that
garage
you
doesn't
bring
have
that
to
up.
be
It's funny that you bring it
pressurized.
up that the garage or the
Crap.
vehicles are sealed. The
Pile
first
it
thing
on.
you notice, exactly. The first thing you notice, there's 2 vehicles inside, one significantly larger than the other, and I gotta find my exact notes here. Okay. Hold on. God damn it, where is it? Stand by. Give me just a second here. I thought I had this a bit more well organized, but apparently I didn't. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Nope, that's not it. A bit more. Okay, so there is a large. Oh, here it is, right here. I'm in the right spot. Inside the garage is the Ute. It's a utility crawler, which is basically a large tracked vehicle with a flatbed area capable of holding about 26 tons of cargo and a picker crane for loading and unloading. So basically, picture something kind of like a pickup truck but larger. You know, one that's large enough to carry a flatbed that could hold 26 tons of cargo. So maybe something closer to a semi truck size, with a crane on the back end, and instead of wheels, it uses tracks. And then the other vehicle is the Grendel, which is a hostile environment ATV, which has a big old dozer blade in the front and a backhoe in the rear. Insert mullet jokes here. But there's actually a big pressurized cabin in the front end that is capable of holding, from the looks of it, 6 people for many days, like 2 weeks. However, as you enter the garage and you see the Grendelborn and the Ute, or utility crawler, the Grendelborn has a gigantic hole in the windshield, and the Ute's access panel is open with several cables leading from the cab rather, to disappear in the upper wall near the door leading into the hallway.
Okay. So they have power problems too.
Of course, as you said, pile it on. As you enter the garage, the doors will all seal up. You'll start getting the telltales that there's clean air to breathe and all that, so you can start desuiting, as it were, or at the very least, take your helmets off. Price and Burnham will kind of disappear off to one side, and not in a "we're gonna hide now so we can shoot you as you walk through the next door" sort of thing, but more like, probably to take their stuff off and check on the power cables in the utility crawler. When you get into the main hallway, let me get back to my notes. As you make your way into the station proper, you'll notice a few things. I've already said all that. I don't know why I read that again. As you come into... So, alright, let me look at the map. So, you come in here, somewhere in here. You go up this way. This is the power module, if I'm not mistaken. And you're right, it looks like what they should have done was... I'm no crazy guy, but I'm not putting my reactor, which I'm assuming that is what that is, or whatever this power generation equipment is. I'm not putting this stuff on the second floor. I'm going to put it over here.
Yeah.
So what it
See,
looks
that
like
one doesn't have a floor. That's just a second story. That one's probably 2 stories tall because that stuff is tall.
Yeah, that's
The
what it
rest
looks
of
like.
them all have floors.
It
But
looks like the 2
they're
images.
obviously in the wrong spots. Yeah.
Yeah, this image here and this one should all be here. And same
That
thing.
is weird. I think that's right. Yeah, with this one not showing the floor, this definitely is the top story.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So,
All right.
and
That's
and the
confusing.
ground floors should be obviously connected, or maybe actually, you know what? I think that is right. These are raised. So you would come in the garage. Look, you have to go up these stairs right here, right? So if you come in the ground floor, right? You go up these stairs to the doorway. You're now in the hallway on the second floor. You're gonna enter here, and you have to follow this little porch, but you know what I'm trying to say. Landing
Causeway.
to the stairwell here, which will drop you down here, which would be the ground floor. And same thing over here.
Okay.
In the other one. So that does make sense. So when you enter from the hallway, you're on the second floor to the individual hab. Or whatever module.
Oh, all right. I mean, that's okay. If that's how we're interpreting it, then that's cool with me.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's the way I'm understanding it, simply because you come in on the ground floor and you go up the stairs, and then even here, if you went in the airlock, you have to go up the stairs to get to the rest of the station. Anyways, long story short, this area in particular has no power, and that is told because there's a flashing red light. I'm sorry, not no power. Atmospheric integrity, because there is a flashing red light above the door that tells you don't enter, because, you know, pressure differential. There is also a similar light flashing above the lab module, which I believe is the D. So yeah, that's going to be, this is the lab module. So there's no atmosphere in there currently either. And then what it also looks like is that, like I said, as you come out, you can take off your helmets, etc. I know I had this written out specifically. I want to double check, make sure I get this right. Station.
Please stand by while the GM loads.
Really, that's really what it is. I guess I didn't actually. Long story short, they are running the power out of the utility crawler, and they've got everybody basically huddled into the habitat modules and running those on right, like, so this hab is at full power because that's where everybody else is kind of hiding out. Not hiding out, but that's where they're staying. Everything else is on the other habitat, which is this one. Is on minimal power, and this is like the mass kitchen, some other stuff, I think. Let's see, what does this say? See, oh, that's the logistics module. So this one is also on minimal power. And Grimaldi, and there's an image of him in that handout. Where am I? As you guys finally come into the main hallway there, Grimaldi is standing there, and he's like, "Good to see you, fine gentle persons. Thanks for coming to our rescue. Excuse me. I am Dr. Grimaldi, and I am so happy to see you guys here. Oh my god, we had no idea what was going on. First, they said that Barrier Aerospace wasn't coming to get us. Then they said the military was coming to get us. Then they said something about pirates and that the no military was coming. And then it's been like 2 days. And I don't know. Holy crap. I'm so glad you guys are here. And as you guys look around, you'll see a bunch of other people kind of like poking their heads out from like behind walls or doors or whatever, kind of off in the distance towards the hab modules. Because currently you guys are... Duplicate this right quick. Because right now you guys are about here. Fit. There. Rename this the party. Oh, Charles, are you back? I just noticed that you had to go BRB for a moment. We need to take a quick respite. Hello?
I'm here.
If he's not answering, then he's
Well, I wasn't getting any answers, so I was like, let me make sure I'm not having a problem.
no. You talked to Helwig, so
That's right. Did ask me if I was all right.
No, you're right. You're right. I did ask Charles, and you guys waited.
Fuck us did, I guess.
I will
right?
ask Grimaldi, why were we greeted with a firearm? Are y'all having problems out here?
We weren't sure who you were at first because, well, we couldn't talk to you until you were damn near on top of us.
That's fair.
Also, sometimes Burnham, they say old habits die hard. I told him maybe he didn't need it. He insisted. I'm not going to argue with a guy that has a shotgun. Call me crazy.
Well, I let him know that, as far as what he's heard, we are not.
We're not pirates, I promise.
Well, we're not pirates. That's right. And now I've had a brain
However,
fart.
pirates would also say they're not pirates.
Barrier. I had a brain fart there. Barrier Aerospace. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Barrier Aerospace.
Yeah. I'm like,
don't
we're
say it
also
too many
not-
times fast.
Yeah, we're also not Barrier Aerospace. They no longer exist. Your university is definitely going to have to establish a new contract. Like I'm Joseph Milligan.
Joseph,
I said I'm a
all
pilot.
I have to ask is this: are you taking us home?
Yes, we are.
Good enough for me. However, you were about to say some other stuff, so now that we got that settled, please continue.
I'm like, the university is obviously going to have to find a new contract, to do their traffic back and forth to the station here. Our patron might be able to help with that, but that's for conversations back on Beowulf.
Yes, indeed. That definitely sounds like a conversation to have on much smoother ground and much more pleasant climates. At this point,
they
you
don't
start
have
getting...
any.
Go ahead.
I said, y'all don't have any current weather data due to your satellite situation, correct?
Not really. We have basically, line of sight. And when I say line of sight, I mean I can look out the window and see that far.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's snowing.
Yeah. I mean, they have some, I think, without looking through the book again, I think there's some remote ground sensory type stuff that can track some weather, some other sciencey stuff, some biological stuff. But generally, like these guys, Grimaldi kind of looks, he's like, yeah, listen, we kind of know the weather pattern around here, and this time of the Grendel year, we can safely assume it's going to be stormy from about, mid to late afternoon until midnight, local atmospheric time. And I know we don't like using, or I'm not a big fan of that phrase, but I think you guys understand where I'm coming from. So we're going to be here a little while. Let me introduce you to the rest of the people here. I do want to ask one quick question as the GM. Have you guys taken a look at the handouts for who is supposed to be on the station?
Of course we have.
I did briefly.
Like
Yeah.
last week?
Yeah. I didn't look at them again tonight.
Okay.
There's like 10 people in a dog or 9 people in a dog. The dog is like a Neo dog. I think they're with
Right,
somebody
yeah, they
in
got
particular.
the Neo dog, which is a really smart dog, but not like a sapient dog.
Right.
Yeah, it's like it's an Uber dog, basically.
So I will ask Grimaldi if all of his people are accounted for, because it definitely looks like they've been through some stuff here.
Actually, we're -1. Professor Struer got caught up in the storm.
When was that?
This last storm that went through, what did I say earlier, last night? And I want to say last night because I keep forgetting the 40-hour timeline here.
Right.
When
So
that
he's been out there for how many Earth hours?
30-ish. We haven't been able to find him.
And what's his chance of surviving that?
Well, short of seeing his carcass, he wouldn't say carcass. Short of seeing his, God damn it, there was something else I totally forgot. I'm sorry. Had to get my brain back into gear. His chances are negligible at this point.
Okay.
Short of seeing his body, we're assuming he is gone.
Okay.
And not in the coming back sort of way.
Right. I just didn't know
Also,
if we should try to field any kind of time to do any kind of sweep for him before we leave, or
I mean, you
what.
can, but keep in mind this storm is about to hit, and we already have a pretty good layout of the local area. We would know the nooks and crannies to look for them, and we didn't find them.
Okay.
At that time, you hear a knocking, and it looks like it's coming from the airlock, exterior-wise.
I'm gonna, as Blaine, I'm just gonna start
I was
counting
gonna say,
heads.
who are you again? Because I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
as Blaine, I'm gonna start counting noses and kind of saying out loud to Spearman and Aiel to tactical, some code word for the tactical assumption. Do your voodoo as I'm like 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato.
So where do you
4.
want Aiello and Spearman to go?
Near the airlock, ready
Okay.
to like grab somebody if they come through.
Gotcha. Yeah, the knocking is not incessant, but it's definitely like, no, please pay attention. I'm knocking.
Okay. I'll take up a position in that first little hallway there by what I assume is
Grimaldi
the
kind of has this look of
power
like,
stuff.
yeah, Grimaldi's got this look of like, again, and right on time. He doesn't, well, he might
I look
mutter
at him
that.
really weird at that point because
Yeah,
I
he
would
definitely
think that you're
muttered
getting
that.
random visitors out here.
Grimaldi notices and he's like, you didn't see the pentapod on your way in? And if the answer to that is no, because your GM forgot to tell you. The statue that you thought was a statue, or that I had tried to describe as a statue, was a pentapod that has been standing in front of that airlock for a couple days now. And basically he just stands there for no other way to explain it, but basically under low power, except every 7 hours, he'll come knock on the door. And Grimaldi's explaining all this. He'll come knock on the door, and he'll ask, let me find my notes just to make sure I get this phrasing correctly. He will ask if anybody is dead yet, and if there are any surplus, any body, not body parts, any corpses with which to trade. And then Grimaldi clears his throat, because obviously this is kind of a touchy subject, right? The exact words, I believe, were, do you have any expended surplus human form bioshells for disposal trade?
At which
just
Blaine,
like
So is
Is
this
this like a
before we
thing
even
that-
open the door?
Well, this is Grimaldi explaining what
is-
has happened
okay.
previously, and that
Okay.
every 7 hours he asks the same question again. So he'll come up to the airlock door, he'll knock on it, wait for someone to, for lack of a better way to put it, poke their head out the little peephole, which obviously wouldn't work with different atmospheres, but some sort of acknowledgement, and then he'll ask the same question again.
So how did he get here?
You're asking Grimaldi that?
Yeah.
He arrived.
I mean, he didn't walk here, right?
Hold on. It's actually kind of funny that you said that. Because he
Also,
did.
this is
I'm
like
trying to find my
my-
exact
my-
notes. I know from memory, but I want to make sure I get it right based on my notes. Hang on. Just give me half a moment. But apparently my notes are not in the order I remember them being. Still
because
finding
like
it. Anyway,
I
okay,
don't
so
know.
go ahead.
Is this what pentapods generally do? Is this like typical pentapod behavior? Like, do they ask for corpses for
They
barter?
they're just a little eccentric. To the point where sometimes you can't tell if they're malicious or if they're being beneficent, or if they're just being somewhere in between. That's what I've gotten out of Pentapod so far.
They utilize
if you-
biomass a lot, so
Yeah.
they recycle themselves and all sorts of
change
stuff.
their
Yeah.
own biology. Like, so without going too deep and too much of a tangent, like the Pentapod starship is a living starship that comes from effectively the same gene stock as every other Pentapod.
And is it unusual for them to be this far into human space?
There have been no, not really, because there's a couple of different embassies and enclaves, not to mention Pentapod explorers, traders, etc. They're not necessarily in like high volume, but there are some across some parts of human space.
Okay. So is it reasonable for us to have seen a pentapod before?
Your characters individually may not have, and I will let you choose that. If your characters did not spend extensive time on the French arm, i.e., you spent a lot of your time on the American or Manchurian arm, which, by the way, side note, previously I've been calling the Chinese arm by the wrong name. It's Manchurian arm. If you've not been on the French arm extensively, you probably have not seen a pentapod.
Yeah, at which Blaine's just gonna like loudly exclaim and jump back like a shock fright type of thing, and then realize she just showed fear in front of the two knuckleheads, and immediately give them the stern eye and just go, oh, I've never seen, oh my god, and then it is like fumbling between the pocket where she might have kept something to, trying to act like she's drawn her hand for a weapon or something like that, and just like,
Yeah.
wait, that's not the right thing to do,
The fear
but she's
reflex.
just like, yeah, and all the time muttering, "Holy, I've never, oh wow, that's a big sucker, that's a big sucker."
Yeah.
Are they bigger than us?
They're like in the 5 to 7 foot range, depending on what they're specifically. I'm not even joking when I say that. It depends mostly on what they're specifically engineered for. They're deep into bioengineering, but generally they're in the 5 to 7 foot range. From what I say that, however, I haven't done a lot of research into the pentapods. This is strictly from what I have encountered in the things I have researched.
Yeah, they can, they're pretty tall. I mean, they basically look like a walking. I think one of the older books used to describe them as like imagine a walking asparagus.
Yeah.
All right.
Except it's not just one
Or a
stalk. It's
Yeah.
five.
squid. Yeah.
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 To answer the
Penta.
question of how it got there,
Yep.
it showed up shortly before that storm that went through. Something like 30-ish Earth hours ago. In a large 3-legged walker, but once that storm hit, that walker was blown away, literally
Oh,
caught in the wind. But he stayed, or
I wonder
it
how he
stayed.
didn't get blown away.
It probably literally grew fucking roots or something. Whatever it is that, listen, I had that same question when I read that. I was like, how is he still there? How did he keep from getting blown away in the wind? You know what? It's a pentapod. Who fucking knows? But yeah, so the pentapod's at the door. Grimaldi's like,
Okay.
of course, right on time. Let me go ahead and tell him no, nothing new. And we'll have 7 hours before he comes tapping again.
I mean, like, should we also bring Alicia asked, like, should we also bring the petapod with? I mean, like, can they? Is it okay if they're on Beowulf? I mean, like, or is that like not good atmosphere for them?
Out of character, I'm going to go with I'm sure they're okay. In character, Grimaldi is going to give you like I don't know. I mean, he got here on his own. I don't know how he got here on Grendel. We never saw his ship land or even fly over, but he definitely walked here. So maybe the pentapods have a base somewhere. I have no idea. I mean, this is some wild speculation, and frankly, not to cut anybody off, we've got some bigger fish in the pan to take care of.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I understand that. Like, first priority is getting the academics, you guys back to Beowulf, but like, there's no reason to strand the pentapod here if we don't have to. I mean, like,
Fair.
it's kind of gross. He's asking for corpses, but like, alien do alien, right? I mean,
Grimaldi's kind of like he kind of gives a bit of a shrug, and he says, "Actually, I was referring more to repairing the station, but I mean, if he wants to come along, I guess it would be the what would he say? I almost said the Christian thing, but also humanitarian seems so smacking when you're talking about an entirely other human race or alien race. It would be the civil thing to do.
does the pentapod even know about the eccentric orbit of Grendel? I mean, like, this thing's about to go in the deep orbit for like months, right?
Yep.
I would imagine they know at least as much as we do. Who knows?
I'm gonna go to like to like the airlock, or I'm gonna go outside to go talk to the pentapod.
Okay. You're gonna suit back up, cycle the air, and all that.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we don't want to decompress or whatever.
No.
Yep.
When
And I'll
you,
put my helmet on it and go with her.
yeah, because we definitely don't want to go out onesies and twosies.
Nope.
Outside, the first thing you notice is that wind has come in at a very sharp angle, and it is rough. And when I say rough, it's something like we've all stood outside when the storm is about to hit, right? And the wind is just suddenly picks up, and it rocks you. And that's what this wind is doing to you right now. The Pentapod has 5 eye stalks, right? But only one of them is currently, well, I'll say 2 of them are currently extended and opened. The others are, retreated or what have you. When you come out, it will raise up a 3rd eye stalk and turn it directly towards you. And it will say, you have expended surplus human form bioshells for disposal trade.
Hi.
And I also want to point out first, Pentapods have at least 2 mouths. I think they have more. I could be wrong. So you get this duo echo sort of thing because both mouths will speak. One mouth will use one word and one mouth will use the other word, not always at the same time. So like expended surplus, expended comes out one side, surplus comes out the other. Disposal comes out one side, trade comes out the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, all right. Cool. Creepy. All right.
Cool. Creepy.
All right.
But when he asked
no,
that, I'm sorry. This last thing. When he asked that question, he has a certain hopeful, expectant tone, as if you are bringing me what I've been asking for.
I just want to make sure that you're aware of this planetoid's orbit, that it's going outside the system.
To be clear, out of character, it is an 18-month rotation or orbit around the sun, so it's just going to go out into the deep system and then come back around.
Right. But like for like most dudes that Alicia is familiar with, that's a death sentence. Maybe that.
No. I just want to make sure because I don't think I actually explained that in this episode. I know previously I have, but yeah. So you have something like 6 months or so of decent weather, temperatures, etc., and then you have got like 9 or 12 that are like the coldest cold you've ever colded. The Pentapod regards you kind of, well, you don't really know how to explain it because it's an alien you've never seen before, so you can't read its body language. The one eye stalk kind of dips a tiny bit closer, and it almost looks like it narrows its gaze with that one eye stalk. The other 2 keep watching the airlock, of course. And then the eye stalk retreats. And you hear something about, and when it speaks, because I can't replicate the Pentapod word or sentence structure as well as the writers of these aliens can. But effectively what it says is, we are aware.
We're going to head to Beowulf. Do you want to ride?
I will be fine.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't,
cool.
And again, a couple words come out a little bit differently on one side than it does on the other, but effectively the statement is, I will be fine. I will not be harmed, or something.
Well, I'll pass comms through to her and say, he said we. How many are there?
I cannot say.
Oh, that's what the Pentapod says?
Yeah,
you can't say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I cannot say, and one side says say, the other side says reveal.
Okay, so I'm curious now. I'm like, what would be fair trade for discarded human bioform?
Ask the professor, and the other side says, ask the teacher.
Say what? Oh.
Okay. So
they've already had that talk with them. Okay.
I'm not assuming incompetence. I'm just trying to make sure you're aware. Humans will not be back here for like 11 human months.
There's no response from the Pentapod at this point. The third eye stalk has retreated fully at this point.
I'm sure
All
they
right,
got
that's
their own
fine.
thing going.
Okay. Yeah, no. If all I cared
If
about
this was
the
a video game,
chill-
I'm sorry. If this was a video game dialogue, you'd have the same options you've already used.
Yeah.
All right. No, I think that is due diligence and not being an asshole.
We've done our part. Apparently, we don't have to worry about taking him with us. We're good. Conscience
right,
is
that's-
clear.
Yeah, no. If it dies, that's on its own. It's allowed to be stupid.
When you come back inside, Grimaldi has, first he's brought I'm assuming by this point, everybody is shaking hands that wants to shake hands, including the students and everybody else. Everybody on the handout has met you guys or shook hands or at least nodded in your general direction. At this point, Grimaldi is, listen, we took a bunch of damage across the station. Obviously, we're not a very large station, so it seems kind of weird we're calling it a station, but this little station took a little bit of damages in that last storm. And we have this other storm that's about to hit in roughly 1 hour. I don't know. We got to get this stuff fixed, and we got to get it fixed, the sooner the better. Once it's fixed, we can get things back to something close to normal, and then we can just wait out the night until we take off again. Can we get everybody kind of organized into work parties, and can we get after it? And he's kind of, the tone he's using is not so much a authoritarian dictator sort of thing. It's more of I'm a teacher and I'm going to try to motivate everybody to follow this general direction because this is the answer that we need to get. Does that make sense? He's not trying to take charge, but he is in charge and things need to be done, and he's trying to find the least confrontational way to get people moving.
That's not a problem.
Nope. Total makes sense.
If he can just provide us with a prioritized list of what needs to be repaired, we'll see what we can do to make everybody more comfortable.
All right. Well, the first thing is the power module, which is that first set of habitats that run across from the garage, right where the red cursor is. That needs to be fixed. The lab module, which is the one between the garage and the hab that is currently being used, has also been damaged and needs to be repaired. And then the crawler, the Grendelborn, needs to get that piece of broken glass taken out and something put in there so that the cab can stay atmospherically sealed. Of course, that work will have to be done in the garage.
That Blaine then looks over at Spearman and IL and say, "Let's go."
Where you go?
Immediately start walking towards the garage.
Okay, so let's take care of the garage first.
Yep.
In that case, the crawler requires a mechanic intelligence 10+ to pull the damaged half of the windshield out and replace it with a slab of composite that can be used basically until composite glass can be brought up to the plane.
Right.
Go ahead.
She immediately looks over this thing and goes, "This kind of looks like the one that we had on the ship. You two were on the squad in the bay all the time doing the maintenance. That was your responsibility. Do you guys think you can handle this, or do I need to motivate you?"
I think I never did determine. I have it written in a notebook somewhere what their individual stats are, but I don't recall which one is the more intelligent. So I'll just say Aiello is probably the one more intelligent because Carl.
Right.
Aiello's just like, no, I think we can get it. I bet we can, if we can pop the seals or the edge, where the edge of the glass is sealed inside the window frame. If we can get that off of there, we might be able to run a ratchet strap through the hole and use that crane to kind of pull it up and out. And then we just got to basically, Spearman and I can just manhandle this slab in there. It's gonna, it's probably some backbreaking work. I think we can do it.
All right. So
he's also,
Blaine
when he says that, he's also expecting Blaine to actually kind of like either maybe Blaine is the one operating the controls on the crane.
Yeah.
Because
well, I mean, Blaine starts going around and kicking things over and like looking for a toolbox and just immediately going, nope. And then she looks back and goes, Well, what are you guys waiting on? Let's go. Let's find some tools. Let's get to this.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I think like a crowbar, literally
Yeah.
pop the slab out of the frame and then run a ratchet
Yeah.
strap through it.
Yeah, I mean, she starts chucking things at him and says, mumbling, dodge a wrench, dodge a...
So there is a replacement.
Well, it's not glass, it's just composite. So basically non-transparent versus transparent composite, which is what would be used. And this is kind of one of those makeshift sort of deals where, so basically you're literally putting a patch on the eyeball of this Grendelborn tractor thingy.
But if you replace the entire windshield with something you can't see through,
no, it's only half. It's only half.
Oh, half. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, imagine like a dump truck or a bus with like a window and then
big
just
window
set
panes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And you're gonna pull one pane out because it's got the big hole in it, and you're gonna slap some concrete, not literally concrete, but something like concrete in there. It'll be enough to keep the seal, so you can keep a pressurized environment in the cab. Go ahead and give me that mechanic 10 plus. I think somewhere between the three of them, you will get a +2 total bonus modifiers, etc.
Okay.
So you basically just need an 8+ flat. So close.
That's a 7. Yeah.
Well, one thing Blaine notices is the material pulled out of the Grendelborn is effectively, it's as dense and or as thick as directions unclear, fucking stuck. Basically, this is bulletproof glass. Effectively, it's not actually, but it might as well be. And whatever it is, shot a rock through it. You can see the rock sitting on, not literally on the passenger seat, but there's a big chunk of rock. It's like fist-sized rock.
Yeah. And I mean, Blaine immediately looks at that and just whistles loudly, and just goes, "Okay, let's try this again without doing more. This just went from a 30-minute job to an afternoon job," and just immediately starts rubbing her forehead.
And Aiello will look up. He's like, "Is that caulking? Do we do that? Can we use caulking to cover up this gap that we missed? Would that work? Could that hold against this atmosphere? I mean, the atmosphere pressure is only a little bit thicker than Earth, right?"
Let's what's it say? I mean, hopefully it has like a tech number, or not a tech number, but like, hey,
rated for this many atmospheres.
Yeah, or like, hey, rated for PSI or something or other, right?
Yeah. So the tech readout or the data sheet glued to the back of the bottle, does indicate otherwise that within about 1 to 1.5 atmospheres, this functions exactly the way you think it would.
Okay. So I said, what? Let's try it. Let's do it, and try not to get it all over yourselves and me. I'm not gonna get, I'm gonna go back on the crane and be ready to, put the parts back in, pull the parts back out, blah blah blah.
All right, let me get another 8+. After all the modifiers, shit, this will be another 8+ roll.
Okay.
And Jesus Christ, you actually popped the fucking thing right back in there, and you really only need to use the caulking to literally form the bond between the composite and the metal frame of the window. Like it's Milligan, it's your favorite word.
What's that?
Butter.
Butter.
Fucking rolled boxcars, natural. All right, so that task is taken care of. While they're doing that, somebody else needs to work on the power module, the lab module, and if they really wanted to, they can go out and restore comms. That's not entirely necessary at the moment.
No, we'll wait till the wind
you've
dies
got
down
you've got
comms.
as far as the comms dome goes, like it's not necessary until they come back up again for the next I'll say the next class.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because and if anybody did bring it up, Grimaldi would point it out, but that's kind of a lower priority only because we're going to be gone for the next 7 or 8 months. When we come back, we can bring a crew up that can fix it and then send the crew back.
Okay. I will take the 2 pilots with me, and we'll go to the lab to see what's up there. Is that just a puncture? Is that what that is?
Yeah, you got another one of those. One of the rocks had punctured through
Okay.
the exterior. There is a lot of damaged lab equipment and shattered glass and things of that nature. Different tools. I can't think of all the things that this word lab equipment would fall under, but basically anything that you would expect in a science lab is just like it's all over the place. Basically, what happened is a rock punched through the hull, and the resulting air pressure change. Now, mind you, we're not talking like significant air pressure change, but like there was plenty of wind that came rustling in, right?
Mhm.
And it's just stirred up everything. Things got flown around, beakers flying against walls, Bunsen burners blown out, whatever the case might be. It's just a fucking mess in here. Both floors, in fact, are just somehow. I think the bottom floor probably got a bunch of water damage from the rain coming in. But effectively, in order to at least maintain air tightness, you just need a mechanic education 8+ to effectively patch the hole. Bondo and chicken wire, exactly.
With the
Exactly.
three of us there, what kind of bonus would we get? I have my mechanic is 0.
You've got who with you again? You got
The 2 pilots.
Karina
Yeah.
and Reese. I'll
Yep.
give you a. I mean, you only need an 8+ total, so I'll give you a +1. I think between the three of you, all being pilot centric, somewhere one of y'all knows the Bondo and chicken wire trick to make this work.
Why can I not get my button?
You gotta wait for the little red dot to pop up before you
Yeah,
push the button.
no, it's being real finicky. There we go.
Is TTS the active window?
Son of a bitch.
We'll say that was Reese or Karina that rolled that one, and one of y'all is kind of like, no. You don't do the Bondo first. You put the chicken wire in the hole first, then you put the Bondo over it to fill in the hole. Go ahead, I'll go ahead and give you a free reroll with that one. Jesus Christ. That's a little bit better. You get
There we go.
Looking at this patch job, it looks like it's good enough. When you go to test the actual atmospheric integrity, the green light does not come on, but the red light comes off. So it gives you the impression that it might not be 100%, but it's definitely in the good enough range. And then you spend another 10 or 20 minutes doing a good once over, like another layer of Bondo, and the green light finally comes on. So I basically gave you that success, but fuck it.
I was going to leave them there to put the second coat on.
Yeah, I was.
And
for
I was
a
going
moment,
to go check on the power.
for a moment, I was going to be like, yeah, fuck it, it's good enough. They'll come back in in 7 or 8 months, that chicken wire is going to be penetrated in some other wall. Okay. For the power module. So for this one, you'll have to go into the garage again. So whoever's going in there to do this will be in there at the same time as the 3 Marines are playing with glass and whatever and caulking up things. With the power out in the station, the students and staff have been using the fuel cell and the utility crawler to provide power for one module and effectively abandoning the others. If possible, oh no, I'm sorry, this is not in the garage. This is the power module, the power hab, I guess. If it's possible, it would be a good idea to repair the module before this storm hits. And so this one actually has 2 separate tasks. One is you have to patch the exterior. You'll have to do the Bondo chicken wire thing. Mechanic intelligence 8+. I don't know why it's different between the 2 locations. One is mechanic education. The other one is mechanic intelligence. So I don't give a shit. You use either one, I guess, and whatever. The second one is to actually repair the fuel cells in the power module. You'll have to swap out some components and maybe top off some distilled water.
It's all you, Wiggles.
Yeah. This is Engineer Electronics 8+ for the fuel cells.
All right. So mechanics education.
Let me double check. I just said it in my short-term memory. Is not working. No, this is Engineer Electronics for the repairing the fuel cells.
Oh, okay. Engineering electronics. Do she have that? She
I'm sure
may.
if she doesn't actually have a skill, that she'd probably have at least a 0 in it. I wouldn't have her roll that one with a -3.
So what was the specialty?
Intelligence or education.
No, for electronics. What was
Oh,
the specialty?
no, it's engineer electronics.
That's oh, okay. So this is where we're entering a Mongoose Traveler 1 edition and Mongoose Traveler 2. Engineering electronics is not a skill in 2.
Let's go with engineering power systems then. I think that one works in 2nd edition.
Okay. That's fine, because electronics in 2 got busted out into its own skill with its own
That makes sense.
own
Yeah, no, that makes
yeah.
sense. And this
Okay.
would fall more under power systems or something to that effect. Because
Okay,
that's literally a
wonderful.
power plant.
Yep.
All right, so +2 to this roll. Let's go. It's all about the Mets. We're rolling like shit tonight.
Mhm.
Wow. I was the only one close enough. I've been the only one close enough.
See, I already had all my memes of a spaceship crashed on an icy world ready to post because I knew he was going to make me land this thing. I knew I was going to crash it.
There's that part of me that just wants to be like, yeah, so you go ahead and you open up the first fuel cell and somehow you ground yourself in the process and there are sparks fucking everywhere. And I think we have something kind of like that. We don't literally get sparks everywhere, but we definitely have one of those moments where Alicia's like, holy shit, that's not how I was supposed to do that. And wow, that fucking hurt. Let's try that again. I know better than this.
Wait, I went to a prestigious college.
Yeah, I went to the University of Engineering. That's much better. Yeah, see, I knew what I was doing. All right, so now we just need someone to go ahead and patch that hole up. It could be Alicia, or maybe she drags somebody off with her.
Alicia could do it too. That's fine. She has a +4 to that roll.
Yeah, that's going to be Mechanic Education 8+, or Intelligence, whichever.
Lappa.
There you
Stick kid
go.
on it.
There you go. All right. So now, across the board, the station has been repaired and is effectively good to, excuse me, good to go. With everything fixed, the students and staff can relax and now actually mourn the loss of Professor Struer, which is the one that went missing in the storm. Excuse me.
So I asked Professor Grimaldi where his main computer system or security system or whatever is.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to check timeline stuff on that other person leaving the facility.
What do you mean?
I want to see
I'm
if
asking just
I
so I
want
know
to
where
see
you're
if the
going with this.
securities. I want to see if the security system logs coming and going from the unit here. And if so, I just really want to make sure that when Grimaldi said this guy
Oh, you're asking in
went
case of
missing,
like foul play or something.
right?
Okay,
I want to
gotcha.
make sure that the stories match up at least.
Gotcha. Let me get in the book where I'm trying to find something.
You have one person falsely in prison. Now everything's a plot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
I'm
can't blame him. No, the paranoia
I'm
is a
still a little
thing.
paranoid. Plus, I've painted a huge target on my own back doing that.
Yes, he did.
Doing that.
We just
press
haven't had
conference.
time to actually explore what that target on his back looks like. Where the fuck is this thing? Because there is a computer in this station. I know he is. Or it is.
I mean,
Here
every
we go.
station would have some kind of computer, I would think.
No, yeah, there definitely is one.
Okay.
It is. I'm looking at this, and it doesn't actually say where it is. Base Central Computer is an expert system designated GB8, but answers to Grendel. It runs the base access of research assistant and serves as confidant when required. Though it is not an AI, it does seem to have a personality, and while it certainly is not creative, can quickly run through logical pathways until it arrives at acceptable results. That's actually not. It's not the what has happened, Grendel. A moment. Thought it had something about Grendel.
Dun dun
I
dun.
know,
I mean, it may
right?
be like
dun.
a ship, and there's not a centralized computer. It's just spread out in pieces all throughout the, you know,
Yeah, no,
workings of the
I
place.
get, yeah, I get where you're going
Yeah.
with it. Let's just assume the computer is in the lab because that seems like if there
Okay.
is one central location for it, that's where it would be. Because there is no
And so it
actual like command and control module or anything like that,
right.
and it is
What is this
listed as
other
a
one over here with this other machinery in it? It's not
uh,
labeled really, is it?
which one is
Yeah,
that?
On
Are
the right-hand
utility,
side?
you talking about this one right here?
Yeah.
the logistics module.
That's the second
Oh,
floor of the logistics,
okay.
or the bottom floor, as it were.
Right.
Uh, what was the question you were looking for with Grendel again?
I just wanted to check any security logs about when that other person left.
Well, without going into like digging through the log specifically, the log having like a at this time this happened, at this time that happened.
Right.
What it does look like is that over the course of about 2 hours, several people came in and out on various task assignments or whatever the case might be. Basically it looks like typical daily activity. And then just before the storm hit, like we're talking in the range of like minutes, everybody is rushing in. The airlock is being cycled multiple times as fast as it can, back to back, getting people in. And it does note that Jason Struer did not return, whereas everybody else had. And then, like, so that entry, let's say that entry is at 11:30, and at 11:30 and 48 seconds, storm break. Like, it hits, right? And that's when the log starts getting a little bit jumbled, and not because like anybody's been tampering with it, but because the power system was fluctuating and other related things based on the storm. And then at let's say the storm lasts a few hours, and then so 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 rolls by, 5:30. There are two separate groups of two that head out, and they're out for about an hour to 2 hours, and then they come back. So it looks like they're actually based on the log, one could infer that search parties did go out, but they were unsuccessful.
Okay. Story checks out. Okay, doke.
Yeah, I guess I could have just summarized that with story checks out. But yeah, so other than that, Grimaldi and the rest of the staff and students, the rest of the staff being Price and Burnham, and then of course the 5 or 6 students and the dog, everybody is pretty much just like everyone's kind of ramped up because like hurry up and get shit fixed. Oh my god, we're getting rescued. And now things are fixed, the storm is hit, and we have nothing to do but basically wait out the storm and 40 hours. The sun will set shortly, and by shortly this is probably like in a couple hours. But the storm hits, and it's Grimaldi will explain at one point or another, this storm is just a regular, normal, quote unquote, he'll even use air quotes, a normal quote unquote storm. The one that hit earlier in the local day was more of a tornado, effectively. Not exactly a tornado, but let's just call it a tornado because that was an easy way to explain it. But yeah, so now you guys have about 40 hours. You guys can absolutely take up any of those empty rooms. We have power across the whole station. There is atmospheric integrity across the station. You can pretty much do whatever you want over the course of the next 40 hours. Everybody's kind of keeping to themselves. Some people are a little bit sad, things of that nature, because Professor Stewart was. Some would say he's a little weird, but he was still pretty good. Everything about him came from a good place, so there was a little bit of, respect or looking up to him, if that makes sense.
Yep.
What are we gonna get into?
I'm going to try to find an imager of some kind. And I want to walk around and document everything that we did.
Oh,
The repairs that we made on the different things and all of that.
do me a favor.
Yep.
I need you to roll some sort of
Recon or something.
Yeah, recon intelligence or recon. Yeah, it would be intelligence. Recon intelligence for when you're in the garage. Just a basic 8+.
Why you got to talk like that?
So what is that a total of?
6.
Okay. So you do notice there is a fabricator in the garage.
Oh, hey, that's interesting. Heck, let's go look at it.
Because might
Does it
as well
have
the
lock?
GM say anything.
Well, I mean, does it have lockouts on it? That's what I want to know.
Well, go ahead and give me some sort of computer interaction sort of skill roll
Okay.
here. There you go. Yeah,
There we
so
go.
the first thing you notice is it is reporting a red band item has been printed. Other than that, it lists its normal options available to a general user.
Okay.
As in,
So can I
like,
see what
a
the red
guest
band
user.
object was?
No. You attempt to, like, type it in, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
what was, whatever
Alright.
the input interface would be. It won't respond.
Hmm.
Or more accurately, it just repeats that a red band item has been printed.
Okay. Can I tell based on the materials available in the unit what the item was predominantly
It
made out of?
it will not release the information on the fact that it was a red band.
Hmm.
Like
So
it gives
why
Yeah,
would it have
but
it gives some
why
sort
would
of
it have
response like
printed a
that.
red band item? Because I
so
thought those were
so
locked out.
yeah, I think Mulligan was also asking about what is the feed to this fabricator.
I'm gonna go with, because I have no idea how to best to answer that in a realistic sense. So basically, I'm gonna go with your standard array of materials, whatever that may mean.
All right, guys, we stumbled upon some description that was not in the module.
Do what?
No, this is in the module. It doesn't give some like hard hitting data on this one. So basically,
Right.
this is what's happening. So because
Does it have
this
a
item,
timestamp on it?
it does, and
And when was that?
the timestamp coincides with approximately. Actually, let me double check that. Let's see. You know what? It may not actually specify when that was. Give me a moment. I'm looking through my notes, and I think I'm almost up to that part. Okay, maybe I didn't. Yeah, so let me double check one other thing. It indicates that the fabricator produced this sometime in the last 36 to 48 hours, but it also gives a notice that because it was a red band item, it cannot give more than a 6-hour window as to when it was produced.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is just see if there's any correlation between the usage of this machine and the disappearance of either that other employee
Mhm.
or maybe even perhaps when did the pentapod actually arrive? Not that I think he got in here and did it, but
I
maybe
think
somebody's
he
scared of it
arrived.
or
He
something.
had to have arrived before the storm. Like I would imagine no more than a day, like a local
So in that
day,
same time frame, basically?
more or less.
Okay.
The timeline doesn't match up in such a, based on the information you know, the timelines don't match up in such a way as to clearly point a finger at the pentapod. Also, who would let the pentapod inside?
Right. I don't think the pentapod came in and did anything, but I wonder if maybe somebody's like scared of it or something. But I mean, somebody else had a weapon, so I don't understand why anybody would need to print a weapon. But I'm gonna talk to Grimaldi about that to
Go
see
for
how
it.
many weapons
Go
there
for
are
it.
here.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Fucking bring it on! I'm sorry. I had to do
So
that.
no. So I will want to touch bases with Grimaldi and ask him, how many weapons are in this facility? We were met with one.
Just that
And I
shotgun.
tell him,
Why?
I have suspicions that somebody has printed a weapon on your
What makes you say that?
fabricator because there's a red band entry.
Curious. I know of nobody that would. I don't know. I
I
don't
said,
know who
well,
would. I think
it
he
corresponds.
gives you like you get the feeling this is legit. Like he wouldn't know who would do this. He also points out that the only weapon that he's aware of is, of course, the shotgun.
The
And of course,
shotgun.
several items that can be made into improvised weapons, but these would be more like
Yeah.
melee, quick strike weapons, like shanks,
Okay.
basically.
Well, I did let him know that it corresponds with the timetable of both the disappearance of the other employee and the arrival of the pentapod.
That is weird. Very weird. I was there when, when the storm hit. Struer, I mean, okay. Struer and I were together with a couple of the students. We were out on insert name of local ridge here. There's probably a map with a name on it. But anyway, we were out doing some sample gathering and the storm hit. We beat it back here, but when I turned, Struer wasn't there with us. He may have fallen or slipped or something, but because of course once he says something about we were out together, whatever, like it starts sounding kind of suspicious, and he's trying to allay that because that's not what happened, right? Like, and like you could tell, like there's actually like legit concern. He's like, I did not mean to implicate myself because there was nothing for me to implicate myself with, kind of thing. Like,
I just nod and go, mm-hmm.
Of course you do, you son of a bitch. But yeah, so like in the story he tells is like effectively like they were out gathering samples for some sort of biological project, and the storm hit, and they beat feet back to the station, and it looked as though he turned his back, or looked back once, and Struer was right behind him. He looked back again, Struer was not, and he doesn't know what happened. And his concern, of course, was making sure that all the students and everybody else got it. He's the head
Right.
guy here. He can't just wander off or whatever. He's got to make sure everybody gets in. But they couldn't find him. It was not safe whatsoever to go looking for him in the storm, because this was a bad. I mean, we're talking about it was punching rocks through bulletproof glass, for crying out loud. And he'll say something to that effect specifically, because the Grendelborn was outside during the time of the storm, or when it hit, before they managed to get it inside. And of course, as soon as the storm broke, like they went outside to go look for him, and they could not find anything to indicate where he had gone.
So I asked him if he had voiced any, I don't know, concerns or whatever about the presence of the pentapod.
He kind of gives you I want to be a smartass, but he would. He kind of gives you a look of like, who would I voice it to? We haven't been in touch with Beowulf since before the storm.
No. The guy that's missing now.
Uh-huh.
Did he have any words about the presence of the pentapod? Did he seem distraught, angry, indifferent?
Indifferent is the only word I could use. I think, if anything, the pentapod may have known that storm was going to come up and that something may happen. He showed up before the storm. 7 hours later, as the storm is dying down, I don't know if this timeline lines up or not, but just humor me. Maybe this is the way he remembers it, even though it's not 100% factual. 7 hours later, he's knocking on the door asking about dead bodies.
Yeah, I'm not asking about the pentapod. I'm asking about the employee that's missing.
Sure.
When the pentapod did show up, did that employee have anything to say about the presence of the pentapod?
I see where you're going with this. Okay. Well, Struer's always kind of wound a little tight. He's a combat veteran, but I never thought anything else of it. If he had any reservations about the pentapod being out there, he never said anything to. I mean, he didn't really get a whole lot of a chance either, but he never said anything to me.
Okay.
Charles, Wiggles, is there anything you guys want to do for the first bit of the 40-hour stretch that you now have to wait as the storm rages outside?
No, I think the only thing that Blaine and Aiello and Spearman are going to do is we're just going to go through and make sure that all the locks are set, everything
Physical
that
security?
can be, physical security, in preparation for this giant storm, and all Blaine's. In the meantime, while Blaine's doing all this is this whole go to Grendel. They said it'd be fun. They said this is quick and easy pickup. They said.
I think Spearman looks over at Blaine because he'll hear her saying this stuff, and he'll look over and be like, "Could you imagine Hellwig up here right now?"
And she just looks back at him and just goes, "Oh, we'd have to give him a leaf and just have him stay in the spot."
That sound, the loony sound. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, back on Beowulf.
Yeah, meanwhile, back on Beowulf. Wyatt and Hellwig. I'm sorry, go ahead, Wiggles.
Wyatt Helwig are inside a logo of Motel 8. Very comfortable.
Yeah, just chilling the fuck out. Like, man, I hope those guys are on their way back. They should be back soon, right? Like, oh, not for another 18 hours. Okay, all right.
Yep. But feet up with sipping cold mimosas.
Sipping up. He's got a bottle of beer that he just popped the top to. He's got his feet propped up on the side of a desk or something. He's like, oh, slurp. Them guys should be back. Oh, no, I guess it is about another 12 or 16 hours. All right, well, what's on the tube?
Yep.
Helwig.
I look over and go, yeah.
I miss my wife.
That sounds like a personal problem. Although I'm sure if you go down, there is a real red light district here. So you could probably go find a friend or a simulacrum.
Helwig.
Yeah. And I just look at him like with this concerned
It's like
look.
total no
This is
emotion.
not how we play Monopoly, damn it.
Just a total nonchalant. Yeah.
That was gross.
You ask a stupid question.
I didn't ask the question. I'm just lamenting that I miss my wife. You're like, oh, go get a whore.
He said it like that, too.
Well-
Go get a whore.
Well, we're in a hotel room. We're drinking beers. I didn't know where this was going.
I don't know where you think was going
Not
either.
there.
I thought I was just exchanging,
He said not there.
you know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. All right, and he just starts shaking on his beer.
He's one of those guys that starts a sentence and is like, nah, I'm not going to say anything else. Either you won't get it or you will. I'm just going to drink my beer.
You made this weird. He drinks his beer.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Blaine to
Yeah.
make a duty roster, so that 2 to 3 people are constantly kind of patrolling this to make sure, number one, like our patch job stuff is holding and all that kind of jazz.
Okay.
But just to keep a presence and then give other people rack time, so that we're not having.
I mean, you've got
try to-
like.
yeah.
you've got
We're
almost, like,
tired at this
2
point.
days. You know. Yeah, and you should
Yeah.
be because you flew up literally overnight, right?
Yep.
Never mind where the sun is in relation to the surface of a planet. Like you flew up overnight, and you kind of rushed. I shouldn't say rushed, but you tried to hurry up and get shit done because the storm's coming, and once the storm hits, it's going to be really rough to get it done. So you got it all done, and now it's like the energy level has like plummeted. And not in a like demoralized kind of way either. It's just like there's nothing to do. Like there's a couple of students trying to play cards or something, but it's quick that everybody's getting bored.
Yeah. Well, whoever's on duty, I want them just to keep moving. That'll keep them awake at least.
Yeah.
So
Until everybody
Alicia,
gets some time in the rack.
we'll start like double checking the life support system, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And-
She'll start.
So it has been about 4 hours at this point. Yeah, probably about 3 or 4 hours since the storm hit. I need a 2d6 roll from somebody. Just
All
one.
right, Helwig, go for it. My rolls
Yep.
are shit today.
Yeah, really.
Go for it,
Charles,
Helwig.
you have it roll.
There we go.
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'll say this too. A couple of times, Blaine steps in to keep Spearman Aiello from doing stupid soldier tricks, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Like,
I just look at
first
him.
thing is. Go ahead.
I gotta look at him. Said first off, I know you just found these rolling chairs, but there will be no knights.
We're gonna bowl in the hallway.
No, I'm picturing Derby, or not Derby. Like it was one of them just spinning the other one around in a circle, and then have them stand up and see how long they can stand. Just dumb shit.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. There is some
Yeah.
dumb shit that can easily happen. Charles, I need a 1d6 roll, please.
So what can they take home as a
See, I'm already
souvenir?
thinking. Hey, wait! I'm already thinking about that. I'm on one of my trips through the lab. I'm going to see if any of the glassware or anything says Llewellyn Station or has like the university name on it, and I'm going to take one of each and sneak them to them.
Well, that or have the motivator make something.
Oh,
we
yeah,
could
there you
do
go.
that too.
Let's see. So what happens is there is an alert.
Okay.
this alert is kind of a like a standard klaxon. You know, listen.
wow.
I cannot do sound effects either, and I will not do that again.
Right.
But you get like a
Is-
generic alert,
is-
and it is
Is
a
that because the klaxon Scottish Italian?
yes.
Mhm.
Why not? It is recognized by everybody immediately as some module has lost atmospheric pressure. I'm sorry, not lost atmospheric pressure. It has lost integrity. The difference there being that if it was losing pressure, you know, the outside would be something more like a vacuum. In this case, it's just the difference in atmosphere composition that's the problem.
Right.
So the computer is. You said it's not AI, but it's very whatever close to that.
It's
Is it?
augmented.
Can we access it with just voice commands anywhere in the unit?
Let's go with. Ooh,
Let's go with yes.
yes. Yeah, let's go with
Okay.
yes, but it's keep in mind this is not the Star Trek Next Generation
Right,
computer
I
or
get it,
anything.
yeah.
Like you could get it to do certain things, but you're gonna need to be like at the terminal for anything more extenuous than
Yeah.
lock
I just
all
want to
the
know what
doors or some
module
shit.
lost. Yeah, I just want to know what module's compromised so that we don't have to search for
Grendel
what
comes
module's
back
compromised.
with and this is not even like an answer specifically. It's more of a automated response. Grenade, Jesus Christ. Garage grenade integrity compromised. And then a
Okay.
few moments later, garage integrity compromised.
Okay.
The well in the station, order a 50-gallon tub of lube.
Cannot process.
It's cheaper
Um,
that way.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So who's actually on duty right now? Because I'm sure they would respond first.
I'll let you choose.
I'll let you choose. I
I'll
threw it out
go.
there. You can.
Blaine immediately reacts with and then kicks Spearman and says, "Get up. We need to go check on
it
this."
out.
And then you know, and meanwhile, then as they're starting to walk over, she goes, "You know what? Just for goodness' sake, get your brother up."
Your brother up. Alright, so you're taking all three Marines into the garage to go check it out?
Yep.
Okay. When you get there, I need some sort of either investigation or recon or
All right, we're gonna do a
something like
recon
that.
roll.
Alright.
I don't know what her stats
Yeah,
are. So.
I was just thinking the same thing. Again, this would not be any better than a combined +1 across the board
Okay.
for the three of them. So just a +1,
All right.
8+. Well, there you go.
There you go.
It looks like somebody used the walkthrough door, but didn't quite seal it up, and the automatic seal function didn't operate correctly.
Okay, so knowing that I know all the heads are inside, I'm going to immediately shush both the two.
The two
Tell them
knuckleheads.
the two knuckleheads. Tell them to draw weapons, and then kind of pantomime with hand signals. You two go to the outside. I'm gonna run up to the back end of the crawler, and we're gonna sweep and clear the place, and meet at the door. So
So you're
we're
gonna
gonna
clear
go.
the garage?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Give me another recon roll.
Okay. And at the same time, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna kind of, without sounding scared to death, and muttering, "I hope the hell it isn't that stupid pentapod." I'm gonna go.
The pentapod comes in and says, "I am cold" on one side, and the other says, "I am discomforted." Ooh. You got
Yeah.
3 people. I will allow for that.
Okay.
The red engine light, not the one that says warning, the one that says do something.
Right. Yeah. I'm just gonna shout loudly. Is there anybody here?
All right, go ahead and roll again.
All right.
Uh,
Oh.
The only answer you get is whoever said that, one of the two knuckleheads responds, and then Blaine is like, "Not you." So I'm assuming it was
Well,
Blaine
here.
that asked the question. So at least one of the two knuckleheads, "I'm here," and Blaine's response is, "No shit."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and then you said somebody was gonna go outside?
No. We're just gonna meet at the door and then try to secure it.
Okay, yeah, so securing the door is easy.
Yep.
Close it up. And then repressurizing or re-atmospherizing the atmosphere in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Only takes a moment because that's just a couple of button pushes or something to that effect to recycle the air inside.
Right.
Milligan, are you anywhere near Grimaldi?
Since they were asleep, I'm probably one of the people on watch right now, so I would probably be moving towards the garage from wherever it was that I was previously. And so
Okay.
if Grimaldi's in between me and there, then sure.
Well, Grimaldi probably would have been checking it out, but he wouldn't have. If he'd seen you guys moving towards the garage, he probably would have just been like, eh. But you do, as you pass near him, you do hear Grendel kind of chirping up on, like, in the past, I've kind of alluded to the Link devices and things of that nature being similar to the Babylon 5, the little disc on the back of the hand.
Yeah.
Not using that specifically, because honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. But something similar, some sort of handheld or easily carried and moved from one piece of clothing to another type of device. You hear Grendel speaking almost as if it's speaking directly to Grimaldi, and you hear something based on this recon roll that you're going to give me.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Milligan, on his way to the
Sorry.
garage, passing Grimaldi, may or may not hear something.
Boom.
Oh, so you
There we
actually
go.
hear this
That's at 11.
pretty much at closest approach. It appears Professor Stewart has returned to the station.
And was he talking to me or the computer?
The computer was talking to Grimaldi via
Okay.
his personal link device.
Okay.
Almost like you passing by somebody with their phone on speaker, and you happen to hear that.
Right. So I stop and look at him.
As soon as you stop and turn, he closes whatever door he can close between the two of you as he effectively does something like take a phone call and has a private conversation with the computer.
So where did he go?
He's
on it.
absolutely not answering, because unless you go through the door, he has literally closed the door in your face and is gone to take this call.
How rude.
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there. He may have some very serious questions for himself to ask the computer, / maybe he's calling Struer like, bruh, where have you been?
I go, if he's going to play games like that, I'm going to go right to the garage and meet with the security team.
Okay.
I'm going to tell them exactly what I just overheard. I said, it doesn't make any sense that one of their own is trying to sneak into the unit here.
All right, so what's this okay, so let me interject just for a moment. We've got roughly 10 minutes. Let's have a quick scene between Milligan and the 3 Knucklehead Marines as played by Charles. Go.
I'm going to spin around when I hear the door open behind me and go, what? Who? And identify yourself.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
It's Milligan.
Because they just got done doing a security sweep with the who is in here? Me. Right. No shit, you. Right. And it's kind of, I imagine it's kind of dark because, tactical reasons.
So, I mean, I just relay all that to him. The computer was just talking to Grimaldi. They said that was dude that's missing, that just tried to come in the door. Why he's trying to sneak in, I have no idea. But the fact that a red band item was printed on that fabricator over there about the time he disappeared makes me concerned he might be armed. I don't know why. I don't know if he's having some kind of schism. But we need to be on our toes.
Shudders at the word schism and space psychoses and stuff like that.
Oh my god! Here we go! Wow, this crazy is contagious. Apparently. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, and she just and she just mumbles. Last time I had to deal with this was on mentioned some random station out in the American Arm, where she came from, and it wasn't pretty. And immediately screams for Spearman Aiello, get over here, and then she immediately starts going into her full tactical. Let's get the door shut.
Yep.
Let's sweep everything again, and this A red band item. Oh no. He might be going nuts. And last time I saw this, it wasn't pretty. Somebody killed 12 people before we could shut him down with a minigun.
With a
And
minigun.
12 people with a minigun? I'm sorry.
No, they
Those
shut
two,
him
the
down with
12,
the
the
minigun.
12 dead and the minigun are two separate items, but still, 12
Yeah.
people and the minigun were part of the parameters of this. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
are there
I
any-
think that's what you actually hear from Spearman. He's like, "What the fuck? 12 and a minigun?"
Are there
Yeah.
any?
Seeing the death of his own skull. That sounds impossible. I know. That's what he kept on screaming.
Trying to get a ground-based version of fucking oh fuck, what is that? Event Horizon. There we go. Except less of the trans-dimensional bullshit.
Yeah.
Anything else in
Are
your
there
little scene?
any mechanical deadbolts on that door? Can that door be secured from the inside so it can't be opened from the outside?
You're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the walkthrough
The
doors.
garage
then?
door? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I imagine with like a basic sweep of the security of like the physical security, you can establish some sort of deadbolt lock on the two walkouts, and then the roll-up door has a similar deadbolt system. It's one of those like you slide a bar over along the rail that prevents the door from being pulled up. If that
Okay.
makes any sense. Switches the thing
Yep.
on the garage door from unoccupied to occupied.
No
Oh,
soliciting.
man. Yeah, really. The social contract says how you have to. Oh my god. All right. Anything else you guys want to do in the garage, real quick?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Just make sure it's secure.
Yeah. So as far as you can tell at this point, the garage is physically secure. More to follow as we move into our next session. Are we good for next week, the 27th?
I
think
am.
so.
Yeah.
Awesome. We will get to the bottom of this mystery one way or the other. We'll find out things like what the fuck is going on with Struer, and why is Grimaldi suddenly being shady, and what is the Pentapod all about, and maybe some more questions will be asked and possibly even answered next week on Second Star. Let's do some outros, starting with Charles.
Tonight was pretty fun. All I'm thinking about right now is a certain movie set in the Antarctic.
I don't know what thing are you talking about here. What kind of thing is this?
I have no idea.
The
I
irony
mean,
on this, I just want to interject. I find this completely amusing. That if you spoke Finnish, you would have learned the story in the first like 5 minutes. If you understood Finnish or Swedish or something like that.
Right.
I find that utterly
Well,
amusing.
I don't understand what March the Penguins has anything to do with this.
Yeah.
What did he say? It was I
March
feel
of the
like,
Penguins.
March
It takes
of
place in
Penguins.
Antarctica. Yeah.
It's about the
it took a
tuxedos.
second for my brain to catch up with you, but I get where you're going with that. Charles,
and
please
then
continue.
and then just the only thing I get to say is my last joke and comment was about another space movie with Steve Buscemi in it. So just you can draw your own conclusions.
Oh, now
If
I gotta
you know.
think about it. 12 dead and a minigun.
Well, not 12
Shit.
dead, but just a minigun and space psychosis. And Russian parts, American parts,
yeah,
all the same in Taiwan.
Is this like a Ragnarok thing?
No.
No, not the
It
end
kind
of
of
times.
is. It's the end of a world. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
R.E.M. song?
So the
Yep.
scariest thing possible. You
No,
just say,
ironically, it's not REM. It's actually an Aerosmith something.
yeah, yeah. Before Aerosmith got scary looking.
Jesus, don't remind me again how old I am.
Yeah. So other than that, the only thing I have to say is I am excited for next week, and hopefully we can get this resolved and we get the team back together, because it's always a good thing when you split the party, right?
Oh, absolutely. Meanwhile, Hellwig is on the fucking servers of Beowulf, just kicked back, drinking a beer, watching some show about robots shooting the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
never-
Everything
He's
seems
probably never
fine to
gonna
me.
leave.
Let's go
He's
get
going to
some
wind up
steak.
being one of our. He's going to become one of our contacts instead of an actual PC. Oh, he's living on Beowulf. He won't leave.
Yeah, right. All right, Wiggles, what do you got for me, man?
So what are you? It.
Oh, stop.
At first, I thought it was like maybe he just like spoke and didn't quite register on the mic, and I was like, "This motherfucker!" As soon as I got that far, Thurgore's like, "Man, come on, son of a bitch, you trolling? Y'all some trolling motherfuckers around here."
Today's third G stands for obnoxious.
But there's no G in obnoxious.
It's silent.
It's K as in knife. All right, you got anything else, or shall I move on?
I had fun. I had a good time. I amused myself nonetheless.
Yeah.
No, I like the fact that we seem to be going back and forth with one of us being more active than the other. I think that's good. I think that's healthy. Because there's some situations where I have to be active a lot due to
Yeah.
my role in the group and
I'm definitely trying to spread the love. I want everybody to get a fair amount of camera time. So
I'm glad that that's happening. That feels good. No, today was fine. The Penapod's neat. I like the Penapod. I'm glad it's doing more lore stuff with the 2300 universe because like that lore. Yeah, no, the Penapod's neat.
yeah, you should look them up if you haven't already, and not just you, but anybody that wants to learn more. There are some interesting things about the pentapods. I haven't done a lot of looking into any of the 2300 aliens, except for the Kefir, and I've only looked at them a little bit, just to get a basic understanding. None of them have really come up as centered, or excuse me, as the center of any particular stories. So that's when I actually kind of have to look a little bit more into the pentapods myself, just to have a kind of a baseline for what this individual is doing in this story and what his purpose is, and then how best to portray him so that I can make him do the thing he's supposed to do, other than the obvious.
I may know another road bump from this being first edition to second edition.
Yeah.
So in second edition, like the maximum air supply you can get in a single tank is 720 minutes,
which is only a few hours. That's like 6 hours or something. My math is not working very well.
Yeah, no. So that would be part of my base assumptions.
12 hours, yeah.
My base assumption about how long this guy can actually live and whatnot. So I don't know if 1E has a different system for that, but that's my understanding of how air supply.
Are you talking about Struer?
Yeah, he was outside for like 20 hours. So
yeah, no, there's a reason for it that you guys have not yet had a chance.
Okay, that's fine. So like knowing that information is what I would base upon assumption. So I wasn't sure if 1E was different with that or not.
Yeah, I mean, and again, obviously that's strictly out of character information. Like you guys haven't even seen Struer, let alone tried to figure out how did this guy survive for so long out there.
No, he's a Pentapod.
The irony on me is amusing as fuck, but I can't say any more than that. Oh my god. Wow. That's a fucking... What do they call that when you take one thing from another and that other thing goes into the one thing? Juxtaposition? Is that what that is?
That's when you compare or relate to things that are in opposition to each other for like shock or contrast. There's a juxtaposition.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe that's exactly what it is, but I can't enunciate. You got anything else, Wiggles?
Advertising is hard and draining.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That was one of our brief conversation topics before we got started. But in order to keep us from going terribly long and losing track, let's go to Thurgore for our final bit of outros before I do my bit.
So number one, I'm glad my landing record is still intact.
Only because I didn't make you roll for it. You know that,
yes,
too.
I know.
We saw those rolls tonight. And you would have been unaugmented, for lack of a better word, because this would have been straight hand on stick, not plugged in, not holographic controls, nothing. This would have been all fucking literally flying by the seat of your pants.
Okay, but see, I thought about that. So this was what was going to happen. if you were gonna call for a roll, I was
Uh-huh.
gonna let Reese sit down.
Let Reese be the one to do it.
I'm like,
He's an
you've done
NPC.
this
He's
so
not gonna
much.
die.
Go ahead and land us. So I already had a plan on keeping my streak intact.
You cheeky son of a bitch.
Yep.
All right, what else
All
you got?
right. Everything went good, and I don't particularly like the idea of an ice ball planet at all. It can claim your life too quickly, so the sooner we're out of here, the better I'll feel about it.
Yeah, especially one that's got such stormy weather. Because if you guys haven't noticed from the read-in or whatever you want to call it, so like you're getting hit with a thunderstorm right now, right? Everything outside is getting saturated with water, and then once the storm stops storming at something like local midnight, the
It's
temperature's
all
going
gonna
to drop.
freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I want to point out, like, you're going to wake up in the morning, not literally, possibly, depending on the exact timeline, but yeah, you're going to get up in local morning, go outside, and your ship is going to be thawing because it's literally encased in ice.
Yep.
And not just one, but two
So
and everything.
the only other thing I can say about tonight is, dude has to be nuts some way or another, because who the heck would stay out there like that? So I don't
They're
know
a
why he's.
pentapod.
Huh?
It's
I don't
spring.
think he's a pentapod.
Now they are after they've been consumed.
Yeah, he may have been converted or something.
Consumed or eggs implanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go back to the front door and tell the pentapod, hey, there's one running around that y'all can have.
He might be like, he's gonna be like, what do you mean you have one running around? Aren't corpses
Yeah.
supposed to be immobile by definition of being a corpse? I don't
Just
know, man. I
legally,
don't make the rules.
legally, he's already a corpse. So if you find him, you can take him.
Yeah. We're just gonna get out of the way and let you have at it.
Yep. All right. So anyway, hopefully he wasn't able to create anything too horrible on the fabricator, if
No,
that's
just a
really what was
thermonuclear
going on
powered
there.
minigun.
Yeah, a minigun, or just man portable plasma rifle or something.
I honestly, I don't know how this fabricator works, and I don't know what its limitations are from the rules and anything else, or how a man portable fusion gun would work. Pretty sure, however, that you're going to need a little bit more than a 3D printed gun to make it into a fusion. Man portable fusion gun?
Oh, probably so. Yeah.
I feel like there's a few chemical reactions and some other things that need to take place in order to make that thing do its thing.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, my friends. That is it for tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate the support. If you enjoyed the show, whether you watched it live or if you're watching us on YouTube, please consider, of course, matching all the buttons, the like, the subscribes, the bells, the whatever. But also consider, more importantly, coming on over to the Discord server. There's a link in the description below. Or if you're on stream now, just type !Discord or look on the Twitch page. You'll find my link there too. But come there, hang out, talk some shit, throw some memes. We do it all. And then, let's see, what do we got coming up? I am debating. I don't have anything planned for tomorrow night, but I am considering a stream tomorrow night. Just because in the last few weeks, my stream time has gone down a little bit based on some other stuff going on. So I'm thinking about possibly streaming tomorrow night. I don't know for sure. Additionally, on Sunday, I am recording the final match of the current week for Greyland Trios League. So that video will go live on the morning of my birthday. I will let you guys do the math on that. And then next week, Wednesday, will be the next hard-coded stream on the 27th. That will be us right here again playing Second Star. I think that's all I got for now. So yeah, Discord, birthday, and more Second Star. We're going to get out of here, because if I keep talking, it's just going to be rambling. So make sure you're staying safe out there. Do what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good night, my friends. Stay safe.